Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Aye. So it was a week, eh? It was a week when the Sun came over all Daily Mail and said, "Sex kills," in 8-foot-high letters on the front of their tiny page. When Mick Jagger denied he needed oxygen on stage. Some journalist said he was sucking up oxygen in between numbers on stage. Just a tiny bit of journalistic investigation would have ruled that out. You know, like, I don't know, going to see a Stones gig. That would have ruled that out. A postal worker was suspended for advising his customers or clients, or whatever they call them, how to get less crap through their door, and was suspended. As you know, causing huge publicity, and now millions of the rest of us know how to stop it too. A study this week showed that Britain tops the league of the most corrupt countries in the world. There's a surprise, eh? It was a week when a pilot locked himself out of his own cockpit. And when the worst day for arguments all year passed, it was Wednesday. Did you have an argument on Wednesday? It was revealed this week that Brits abroad, what Brits abroad get up to, which came as a surprise only to Brits who have not been abroad, or indeed on holiday at all, especially to Blackpool. This is that story. Almost half, 49% of 16 to 24-year-olds who went abroad admitted that they got lucky, in inverted commas, on their holes, and of those more than half got lucky down on the sand. I can think of, I can't think of apart from broken glass, I can't think of a single surface that would be worse for having, on. Because it just gets everywhere. Even if you're just strolling along it and, in your shoes. You get back to your car and you get home and you unload out of your pockets 3 tons of sand. How on earth did that get there? Well, the nooks and crevices that it would get into if you were actually, on it, didn't even bear thinking about, it would chafe, apart from anything else. 45% of men said that they had gone away with the explicit intention of having casual sex, but just 14% of girls admitted that they deliberately set out to sleep with someone, which means that 86% of women did not, of girls rather, not women, 16 to 24-year-olds, 86% of 16 to 24-year-old girls said that they did not go on holiday with the explicit intention of having casual sex. Liar! Many parents will be shocked to discover, it says in The Stun, that more than 3/4 of young lovers were drunk when they had sex on holiday, while 8% admitted that they were under the influence of drugs. Well, they obviously didn't do this survey on Ibiza, because it would have been completely the other way round. 3/4 of the 1,000 travellers questioned, 76%, said that they were more likely to have casual sex on holiday than at home. And the reason for that is that their boyfriends and girlfriends are at home, and they go on holiday with their mates. Out of sight, out of mind. Of those who had sex during their foreign break, 64% did it with a fellow Brit. I don't know, there's something about that that's just not quite right, is it? You go abroad in order to sample, other cultures, and you end up having sex with someone from Glasgow. There's something distasteful about that. Those who had, the survey found that, it was carried out by, guess what, Durex. That's right. They did the survey in order that people, the dopes like me, would say the word Durex a lot on the radio. Britons were found to be the best holiday lovers, said Britons. That is just so weak, isn't it? Italians were the sexiest, and French were thought to be the most romantic. Well, as long as they're not, conforming to stereotypes, that's excellent. There's bad news for Turks, however. They were found to be the worst lovers from Turkey. You've been warned. Closely followed by the Germans. Of holidaymakers who ended up in the sack, 1 in 10 admitted that they had romped with their rep. That's got to be one of the best jobs in the world. It probably doesn't pay very well, but the side benefits, huge. And 8% did not bother finding out any information about their newfound flame, including their name. Isn't that awful? It didn't be, when I was a lad, it were grand. You used to actually introduce yourself first before interfering with each other's clothing, but not now. It's considered old-fashioned. 10% confessed to cheating while on holiday, but only 4% then owned up to their partners, which leads me to the question on everyone's mind. How was your holiday, Lucy? Speak up, I can't hear you.
That's very rude. It's lovely. Actually,
is that all we're getting? Lovely?
Well...
You're very distant.
Well, the thing is that the holiday became a bit boring after a while. So I was sort of... That sounds a terrible thing to say, because I didn't go away. I just stayed in the UK, and it's hard to stay in London and not spend lots of money. But I did do as many things as I could for no money at all in London.
Like what? OK, this would be a great list. For people who are listening to this, who are considering coming to London, because now we've got a gigantic audience outside, right? Because we're digital everywhere, is that correct?
That's correct.
And so
well,
people
just about everywhere.
Yeah, so people are thinking of coming down to London and spending their hard-earned wages from whatever job it is they do out there. And, they haven't got any money, have they? I think the average working wage outside of London is, 6 pence a year, something like that. Just enough for a three-piece suit and a bag of chips. So they come down here and are stunned by our prices. So what can they do for free?
They can go to the V&A Museum.
Correct.
And that was very nice. And you can play little games in there too if you've got children. Or even if you're just a big kid, you can play.
Games?
Such as deciphering from Rococo or Palladian style. You can kind of make your own frames and things like that. And I tried to get my sister to try some skirts on in there, but she didn't want to because she said they smelt. But
oh, nice.
Well,
were you actually allowed to try on skirts?
Yeah, no, you are.
You're not supposed to go beyond the velvet rope, you know.
No, not those bits. Just understanding how the whole hoops worked and things like that.
That sounds like very posh games. Like most kids were going.
So that was quite good, and we did the Tate Modern as well.
Oh, yeah.
But it's a very long trip, that one, isn't it? You have to decide which floors you want to do and for how long you're going to stay there. Well,
although I enjoy their new hang, it's been well hung. It remains that the problem with Tate Modern is it's a huge building with not much to see in it.
Oh, yeah, well, a lot of the stuff just stays there all the time, doesn't it?
Well, it's not of great quality. I mean, that's been the problem with the Tate, is because they didn't buy when it was cheap. They haven't thrown any money at art for a dog's age. That's why the walls are virtually bare of anything of any quality. You go around there and you just think, oh, blimey, this is a load of old Tate. You go into a room and there'll be a shopping basket in the middle of it, and it looks like, a local car park. But that'll be art.
Yeah,
it'll be cheap art, because they can't afford anything that's actually good anymore.
Yeah, and we realised we were working on some tiles that suddenly they were part of the room.
Yeah, Carl Andre will be furious with you. No, you're supposed to walk on them.
Yes.
Well, you gingerly do it, don't you?
Yes, and then you go, oh dear, should I have done that?
Yeah, don't walk on the bricks, though.
Really?
Yeah, they'll take you out and shoot you if you walk on the bricks. Because they've been carefully arranged. They're not cemented together. It's the same room, right? The bricks and the tiles. It's column?
I think so, yeah. It was good, actually.
Huh.
But some of it was good. But then the one exhibition that I wanted to see cost money in the Tate.
Oh, they always do, yeah.
Yes. So we didn't bother with that one. Yeah. And that was my free exhibit.
Artsy-fartsy. Huh.
Yeah. I really did want to go to the Natural History Museum because they had some good ones on, but the queue was huge and there were lots of children around, so it's slightly off-putting.
Yeah, kids running around screaming.
Yeah.
Yeah, they really do ruin children's attractions, don't they, children?
Yeah. It is their summer holidays, though, so, you have to kind of give them a chance.
I suppose so. Here's our first one in Chester. Hello, Stephen.
Hello, Nick. Welcome back to Lucy, by the way. Got someone to talk to now.
Yeah.
I noticed that there was a poll on the BBC. 220,000 people voted in this poll.
I doubt it.
Well, so they say. For the top 10 albums of all time.
Oh, God, here we go.
What do you think is number one?
Oh, it'll be something embarrassing like James Blunt or so. Which channel?
No, it's Radio 2. And
right, James Blunt, like I said.
And a few other websites with official charts. Anyway, no, number one was Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Heart Club's Band.
Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, the greatest album ever made. No, but thanks for playing.
Next was Michael Jackson's Thriller, and there was 4 albums the Beatles out in the top 10. Revolver was 6th, Abbey Road 8th, and White Album 10.
Yeah, and they're always up there because people just automatically reply when asked what's the greatest album ever made or the greatest song or whatever it might be. They just automatically go to the Beatles, regardless of whether they've actually played the Beatles in their house for, forever. I mean, I own Beatles records. Who plays Beatles albums anymore? There can't be anybody that does that. And so it's just a knee-jerk reaction. What's the best album ever made? Oh, I know. It's like the right answer to the question. They don't give it any thought. They just spew out Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band because they saw that's what won last time. It's like Bohemian Rhapsody that always wins, as does Led Zeppelin. What's that called?
They said there was only
played that 800 million times. What's it called? Stairway to Heaven.
They said there was only one album from the last 20 years, and I never heard of this.
OK Computer, Radiohead.
U2, the Joshua Tree.
Oh, Struth.
That was 3rd. And then they went on to say that they had the best of the rest category, and that was topped by. What do you think that was topped by? Best of the rest? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Oh, well, they thought there were so many albums that weren't in there. They decided to have a best of the rest.
Yeah, you're close, but let me explain what actually happened. They said that one of the best albums that made it to number 1, and then they made a list of albums that didn't quite make it to number 1. I think you'll find that's what it was, and I think the best was, of course, Dark Side of the Moon, which is the right answer.
And they said they only made it to number 2. I thought number 2 was pretty good, actually.
Not for that album, no. It made it to number 2, but then it stayed on the charts for about 500 weeks.
Right. And then it gives a list of number 1 albums that never made it to number 1.
Number 1 albums that never made it to number 1.
Sorry, the list of number 1 albums is instantly interesting because it highlights the fact that such classics as Dark Side of the Moon, Bat Out of Hell, Ziggy Stardust, and Hotel California failed to reach the number 1 slot.
Right, that's probably because something really dire like, Mr. Blobby's greatest hits happened to be in the charts at the time, and you can always rely on the British public to come to buy the stuff with the greatest taste.
Well, that's one thing, and so just one other thing I thought might be interesting to say.
Yeah, and finally.
Have you ever heard of a saying, take time to smell the roses?
Yeah.
Yeah, because you were talking last night about you worrying me a bit about London and visiting it again, because you tended to say that it was getting quite a violent place now.
It is.
I think it's because people are whizzing here, there and everywhere, working continuously, they don't have any breaks, and they just end up violent people, because they don't take time to smell the roses, I suppose.
Well, yes, perhaps. I don't want to get into this too early, but another way of thinking about it is that people are becoming more violent because people are being allowed to become more violent because there are no consequences to their violence.
Yeah, no responsibility.
Yeah, that's what Nassim Hamed says. But anyway, like I said, I don't want to get into this too early, but you should smell the roses. You absolutely should take time to smell. Bend down to a flower near you, take a deep breath in, and...
Get back to it.
Speaking of the Beatles, by the way, they're suing EMI. It's just, I don't know. I mean, if you had £900 million in the bank, like Macha, would you actually be bothered about getting another 13 million? I mean, what are you going to do with it? What is he going to do? Okay. Yes. Has that got to court yet? I can't wait. Where they start screaming at each other, and he'll be leaping over the dock to try and strangle her. Oh, I just can't wait. When intimate details of their saucy secrets start pouring out through the red tops. Isn't that going to be great? So anyway, they're going to, the Beatles are going to be suing their old record company. They're still with EMI or they're not? Apple. Is Apple an EMI subsidiary?
I'm not sure.
Oh, well.
Do you want me to find out?
Thanks for the input.
Sorry, that was hopeless, wasn't it?
So it's going to be George Harrison's estate, because he's still dead. Ringo Starr, he's still alive. He's the talented one. He's actually a lot of fun, Ringo Starr. I've got a lot of time for Ringo Starr. How can you not like Ringo Starr? He's one of the few likeable ones in there. I mean, who would you rather hang out and have a cup of tea with? or a pint with? Ringo Starr or Macca? Hands up for Ringo Starr? Hands up for Macca? Well, it's overwhelming. So it's George Harrison's estate, Ringo Starr, Paul Macca, and Yoko. You know, when they, it's every time she comes along, people say, hey, what's happened to that button? Oh, well, there goes that then. My new machine is broken. Why she's called Yoko Ono is because every time she enters in the room, people go, oh, no. Here's one of her hits. La, 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 la. That's Yoko Ono, one of her best. Let's have Aid, who can't get laid. I mean, can get laid, I'm sorry.
You're forgetting yourself.
I know.
Yeah, just before I get what I called about, I did have that Dark Side of the Moon on CD, but unfortunately I left it out. The cat messed on it.
Nice.
And, well, it still worked, but it played Robbie Williams. It didn't like that.
That was really weak. Does it get better from now on?
Well, let's hope so. We'll only find out, can't we?
I used to have a Dark Side of the Moon on vinyl, of course I did, and he used to skip in one particular place, because, you know, usually I wasn't in my right mind when I was playing it. And from then on, from that moment on, I've never been able to hear that album without it's seeming not right that it doesn't skip in that one particular... It always sounds just odd to me that it continues without skipping. I can't listen to that part.
Yeah, it always makes me laugh when, you know, they put stuff on CD down, and some artists, you know, make it crackly. Make it sound like a record.
Yeah.
Which is funny. But yeah, this auction site, you know, the one without mentioning names.
eBay.
Yeah, I didn't. Well, I didn't want to say, but a few.
Well, there aren't many, are there? I mean,
No.
it's eBay. I think it's become like a generic term for auction sites, isn't it? Like Hoover.
Yeah, have you seen what's supposedly up for sale on there this week?
Well, I've got no idea. It could be anything. My house.
No.
Unbeknownst to me.
Don't know. Half-eaten sandwich by Britney Spears.
Oh, and the rarity value is that she only ate half the sandwich. Is that what you mean?
Yeah, and it's like got $50 or something. It must be an American auction.
And what was in the sandwich?
I think it was some sort of cheese bagel or something.
A half-eaten cheese bagel, as masticated by Britney Spears.
But do you do much stuff on there?
eBaying?
Yeah.
No, never. Oh, no, wait. I bought my pants on eBay.
Oh, nice. Was the new?
Huh?
New ones.
Yes. I'm not Japanese. I don't buy used pants. Of course they were new, you dope. Well, you go to the shops and pants cost like £25 each. That's ridiculous for a little thin bit of cotton with some bloke's name on the waistband. It's not even my name.
Where do you go? Harrods?
Well, you know, anywhere you go, you want Calvin Klein pants, they cost £25 each. It's ridiculous. So I bought them on eBay, and they may or may not be fakes. I took them with their box along to a shop to check, and if they are, they've gone to a huge amount of trouble to make them look exactly like them. So I was happy. They were £3 each.
Yeah, but I mean, other stupid things I noticed, like old TV listings magazines from like the 80s or something.
On eBay?
Yeah. I thought, why would you want to buy that?
Well, yeah, it is weird, but I mean, I guess you could call it recycling, couldn't you? Because otherwise people are just going to throw all this tat out.
Change the environment.
Yeah, I can't use... Yes, they are doing their bit to protect the environment.
Well, what's kind of weird, by the way, when you remember them, right? Up to about the 90s, like ITV and BBC had to have their own separate magazines.
Yes, it was TV Times and Radio Times. How daft is that? I mean, nobody bought the Radio Times to see what was on the radio, because you knew what was on the radio. It was going to be Gary Davis.
Yeah.
All day long.
Or John Peel.
John Peel, always, yes.
Well, yeah, they're having John Peel Day soon, aren't they? So, like, it's his birthday or so long since he died.
You know what? Even though I hadn't listened to John Peel since 1978, I miss him. I miss the fact that he's not there. I miss the fact that if I want to listen to, you know, banging, crashing, slamming action on the radio, there'll be some nerd doing it. And so I won't want to listen to it.
But it is tired of the same scenario as what happened with Benny Hill? Like before, Benny Hill, people like sort of saying, oh, he's past it,
Are you saying Benny Hill?
Yeah, I mean, like the same thing, when they died, like, says, oh, we didn't mean it.
Yes, that's right. There was no end of alternative comedians. They were queuing one behind the next to say how great Benny Hill was. Please disregard everything that I've previously said. No, we really thought he was super, as the nation started mourning for a comic great. And people like Ben Elton and all these other humorless dopes just started queuing. Oh, no, I liked him more.
So it's like, what you have to do in this country, die.
Yes, I suppose you don't get appreciated over here until you're actually dead. Yeah. Well, John Peel didn't get... and by the way, I don't know whether Ben Elton did queue up to it, but, types like that. I'll just use him as a generic term for people who aren't funny.
Yeah, it's usually Barry Cryer, isn't it?
No, Barry Cryer wasn't part of that crowd because, Barry Cryer was of that ilk. He was that old, wasn't he? So you'd assume that they were mates.
Yeah.
But, what was it you just said?
I can't remember now. Was it something about not being appreciated by it?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, I don't think the John Peel was appreciated. I think they were edging him further. If the programme schedules were a cliff, they were edging him. They were past the sign that says, warning, do not go past this sign. Because he was on at some ridiculous time of the night when they hoped. I'm sure the idea was that they hoped that that people would stop listening to him because his audience was so huge that they couldn't get rid of him. And despite the fact that he was an ancient, gigantically fat old man, he was actually. He looked like a space hopper on legs. I saw him just before he died. He was walking down the street, minding his own affairs. Da-da-da-da-da.
You didn't kill him then?
No, I didn't kill him. No, he killed him. I think it was Britney Spears' half-eaten sandwich that did it. But, yes, and despite that fact, that he didn't fit any of the profiles, that they do audience surveys. What is it called when they get a bunch of people in and quiz them about their opinions?
Focus groups.
Focus groups is the right answer. And all focus groups say that if you want to talk to teenagers, if you want to talk to the kids, you've got to be a kid, which is why, all those children's programs are populated by people who look as though they can remember their childhood. That it's just, it's not a distant memory. And despite all of that, he had the biggest young audience of anybody on that station. And I'm sure that the managers were tearing their hair out. They couldn't stand it. And so they just tried to edge him out and out and out, and eventually he did the good deed for them and died.
It was probably a conspiracy.
Oh, yeah, maybe they killed him.
Yeah. I mean, I see what you mean. I'd never really listened to him much. I mean, sometimes, it was on at work and you had to listen to it because that's what was on. But, I did have respect for the guy, yeah.
Well, he was an actual real person. And I'm not sure that the people that they've replaced him with are actual real people. Let's not name names, but I just, they're not real. You know what I mean? There's very few real people on the radio. Everyone's got everyone's got an act.
You do think, when you listen to most radios, you do instantly think of Smashing Nice,
Yeah, you do. Like a lot of them. And it's, most DJs are horrified. They think that it's funny because they don't class themselves in that bracket. But everybody else, you listen to the radio, and almost the first thing that they say, you expect them to play Bachman Turner Overdrive right after it. Yeah.
We've seen nothing yet.
Exactly.
Yeah, and finally, quickly, do you know Ian Lee has been on the Mastermind and the Weakest Link?
Well, I know he's been on the Weakest Link, 'cause I've seen that. It was very funny. When's the Mastermind thing coming out?
I don't know, but my mate, I've seen it. I didn't see it at the time. I see it on YouTube, and my mate argued me out that that Weakest Link was recorded in America.
I doubt it, because Anne wasn't funny.
If you're a Sky TV...
7090900973. Hello?
And we were just discussing briefly DJs. Here's a sign that you're listening to the wrong DJ. If they, instead of say yes, they say yesh. Roger Scott did that first. Roger Scott was the first, American-style FM, cool, laid-back DJ. And before him, everyone was, hey, it was me, like a singer who was, warming up. And then he came on, and he would play, oh, my God, it was unbelievable. He played 4 records in a row. No one, and people thought he was dead. He would be ringing the emergency services. No, he was just being laid back and cool. He used to say, yes, all the S's like that, yes. And if you hear anybody on the radio say that now... Warning! You're listening to the wrong station. Should we start naming names? And the reason I said just before, thanks about Aid, we ran out of time. You called it the wrong point. The reason I said that it wasn't in America because Anne wasn't funny was because I've seen The Weakest Link over here, and I've seen it when she does it in America. And in America, she's transformed into this witty and erudite speaker who's got all these jokes. Why? Because they script her in America, and here, she, ain't got no money, and they just throw her on, and we can't be bothered, and all she has to do is, look in the character that she's fashioned herself, the quiz bitch. That's what she's pretending to be, right? Or it may not be any pretense involved. But they just think that's enough, and they just hope that she's going to come out with something witty, which she never does. She just tries to be, rude. And anybody with the slightest bit of wit will wipe the floor with her. That's over here. In America, they don't leave anything to chance, because huge amounts of money are involved, and so they actually script her jokes. Either that, or the flight over emboldens her wit no end. That wasn't quite the right way of putting it, but you know what I mean. She becomes funny on the flight over. Do you have anything to declare? Yeah, I just got some humour. Duty free. Let's go with Warwickshire. Hello, Robert.
Hello.
Robert.
I'm in Warwickshire tonight.
Hey, it's Robert from the Rhondda in Warwickshire. Well, in Warwickshire. What are you doing there?
Well, I started university back Monday, so a university friend called me this morning, actually, at 11 o'clock. I'm due to move into my new house tomorrow, and he said, we're meeting up tonight, would you like to come? So I thought, no. So then he twisted my arm a bit more, said there's free booze in it. I thought, all right, then I'll turn up. So 2 hours up the various motorways, and I'm now standing outside some pub next to some sort of war thing.
A war?
Warwickshire.
Are you saying wall or war?
War. I'd say it's like a cenotaph. It looks a lot older than that. Yeah, it's quite grand. Very expensive around here.
Huh.
Nice area.
Is it? Well, the pubs are about to close, and then what are you going to do? Warwickshire will be shut.
Oh, we're going to thanks to the wonderful Labour government joke, we got the Licence Act thing now, haven't we? So, I got until 1:30 in some god-awful pub.
I can't believe that it took them that long to come around, and we shamed them into doing it, was it the previous election, or the one before that, where they texted everyone who was under the age of 20 and said, hey, guess what? Vote for Tony Blair, and we'll give you late drinking. We'll do it straight away, they said. And then we promptly voted them all in, and nothing happened. And then a couple of years later, people were gingerly putting their finger up and says, excuse me. He says, yes, we'll get to that. And it took him forever. And the latest thing is there's the no smoking thing. Oh, when is that going to happen? They've been promising that forever. And they got it in Scotland, and the social meltdown that they were predicting never happened.
Yeah, well, I walked into a pub tonight. I forgot people could actually allowed to smoke. It's actually quite shocking. I can see people smoking in front of you. Yeah.
And their smoke clings with you all the way home, and so that you wake up the next day, and if you rub your clothes together in the morning too fast, they'll spontaneously burst into flames.
I've got a guy in front of me smoking a menthol cigarette, if that makes sense. He goes, is that all right? And I'm going, yeah, go ahead.
A menthol cigarette?
I know. Can you explain it? I used to work in a petrol station. They're one of the most popular brands of cigarettes we used to sell.
Oh, can you go up to him and ask?
Are you very sure you're not homosexual?
He did ask me to have a girlfriend tonight.
Right.
But, there we go.
Because that's what really makes the whole cigarette smoking experience much more smooth and enjoyable, isn't it? A mint filter.
Apparently they're awful. I don't smoke, so... yeah, apparently they're really rough to smoke. So
yeah, why would anybody want... I mean, why not orange? Why mint? Why not chocolate-flavoured cigarettes? That's just crazy. I mean, who came up with that? Like, it would appeal to the kids, perhaps.
Well, they sell those chocolate cigarettes. I used to buy them fairly recently. Used to have packs, and then used to undo the rolls. Used to be some form of chocolate. So can't really describe it as chocolate, but yeah.
Yeah, a brown solid-like product.
Yeah. Long and thin. Yeah, it was tasty.
Well, when I was a kid, they used to have white ones in sort of like a semi-hard sugar type of confection.
Oh, yeah.
Which were white all the way down with a red tip on the end, as though lit.
Oh.
Nice. I bet they were made by the cigarette manufacturers in order to wean us onto the hard stuff at an early age. Huh.
That's what people are like. I got some people singing up my Saturday Inn location.
They seem to be happy in Warwickshire.
Well, Warwickshire... Well, I was trying to persuade my friend. I said, why don't we go to a club? You know, I know Nick Abbot's on, but we listened to him in the podcast. So we wanted to go... No, we'll go to a pub, because he doesn't like people. So when I was sat in some pub called the Zealand Arms, or Zetland Arms or something...
Well, that sounds lovely. He's right about that, though. People are awful. Stay away from them.
Well, there was that club. Remember I was talking to you a couple of weeks ago, and I said I used to go to this club, and there used to be full of old people.
Old people?
Yeah, like 40 plus, 50 women.
Wait a minute, I'm 40 plus. Old people.
I was thinking this today, actually. You're 46. I thought, to be your age, I'd have to live my life all over again, and a few more years. I can't imagine that.
Well, I can't imagine that I'm actually 46.
Well, see, I know this sounds bizarre, but you must have seen a lot of change in your lifetime.
Yeah, if you were nearer, I'd do what we used to do to people of your age. I'd clip you around the ear. Because these days you can't do that, because you'd probably shoot me.
Exactly. It's Human Rights Act. I'll sue you.
All right, well, listen, have an enjoyable time in the, foreign parts.
Yeah, it is foreign. I mean, England, it does feel bizarre. As soon as I cross the border, I have to say.
Don't buy a house there or we'll set it on fire, all right?
700 grand round here, can you believe it? You live in London, so yes.
Yes, I can. 700 grand, you can get change from £10 million around here.
It's ridiculous. Right.
Anyway, thanks a lot, Robert.
Bye.
Ta-da. Hey, the Chinese are going to be hosting the Olympic Games. And as are we. Is everyone excited about that?
No.
No. I mean, can anybody care less about the Olympic Games? I mean, really, we were shoehorned into being excited about it, and everyone was jumping up and down, and then we looked at each other and then, okay, now what? I drove through the area that they're going to have the Olympic Village in, and I'm telling you right now, no one will want to go there. It's awful. I mean, no one will want to live there. They're going to put a lot of posh flats. It's going to be an island of executive flatlets in a gigantic morass of hideousness. You're going to need a plane or like a helicopter to get over the uncivilized part to arrive back in the West End. No offence to people who live there, but no middle class people are going to want to live there. They really aren't. They're going to have to build a wall around it. Wasn't that where that guy got that? Let's not talk about that. But that was the vague area where that man was let down by the police and was shot dead. Right? That's that area, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Visitors to this country are going to really going to want to get off the plane and train and go straight there. But they have worse problems in China because people over there apparently are not polite. This is not us saying that. This is them saying that. A revolution in social etiquette is sweeping Beijing as the Communist Party seeks to prepare the capital city for the 2008 Olympic Games. They're levelling great swathes of the city. I mean, here we have to ask politely. Well, not really. We just wake it up and do it, but we don't, send in the bulldozers while people are actually asleep. We send in the police first and forcibly eject them. We don't want to kill them while they're asleep, but there's no such politeness is needed. They just go in and raise the entire area to the ground, and people who used to live there aren't compensated in any way whatsoever, and are just given a knapsack and pointed in the direction of the nearest rice field. Off you go, mate, they say in Chinese. In a series of bossy initiatives, from forcing people to queue politely at bus stops to stopping concert-goers from using their mobile phones, the authorities are attempting to bring about a major shift in the way the Chinese behave in public. And, I went to a gig this week. It was Basement Jacks with 2 X's. Like that. And I'd say a third of the audience were enjoying the concert through their mobile phones. I mean, it was absolutely moronic. It's like you're enjoying your life in... oh, God, there's another word that I've completely lost. when you enjoy something through others by... It's like a Latin word of some kind. Oh, no. Lucy's looking totally blank. What a contribution you've made so far today. It's not in retrospect, it's by, oh no. 08709090973. What word am I thinking of right now? You'll win a major prize, or not, as the case may be. Lucy will come up with something. It's by... Oh, Struth.
Do you mean vicariously?
Vicariously is the correct answer. What does she win?
£1 million.
£1 million. We'll post it to you. Look at that board. It's lit up. All these people are coming vicariously. Oh, I think he's thinking about vicariously. What was I saying? Oh, yes, all these people are enjoying the concert vicariously. There's that word again. Through their mobile phones. They weren't watching the gig. They were watching the tiny little blurred screen of their mobile phones, holding it up over the crowd. How stupid is that? People, I just flat out give up on them. Anyway, back to China. 2,500 people have been recruited by city officials in Beijing this year, called supervisors of riding politely, which is what it says on their T-shirts in both Chinese and English. Supervisors of riding politely, it says. Bus stop grannies are just one front of the battle. Last month, travel agencies were issued with guidelines on how their customers should behave when abroad. The behaviour of some Chinese travellers is not compatible with the nation's economic strength and its growing international status, said a circular from the Spiritual Civilization Steering Committee, which is overseeing the campaign. Among the flaws it highlighted were spitting, clearing the throat loudly, and squatting while smoking. Ew. Some of our customers make a lot of noise in restaurants when diners from other countries are eating quietly around them and don't use public bathrooms properly, said Song Miao Hong of the China Youth Travel Service. Don't use the bathrooms properly? In what sense? It's because they're squatting while they're smoking the cigarette. They have no need of bathrooms. Etiquette is one of China's most confusing aspects for visitors. There's great formality on public occasions, yet many foreigners are shocked by common aspects of street life, such as ignoring queues. In part, this goes back to the Cultural Revolution, when etiquette was condemned as bourgeois. Why do we have to lapse into French? It's just daft, isn't it? Bourgeois, they say. And a similar thing is being mooted for this country. Ken Livingstone, all of whose posters have his name on it, Mayor of London. There's a single thing that comes out of his office that isn't stamped Mayor of London. It's like, I'm still here. I know you may have forgotten me, but I'm still doing things. Mayor of London. Mayor of London. They must have spent £1 million on going to some agency that came up with that London. How we say? Oh, I know. Well, highlight the letters on, and they will be groovy. London. Get it? And now they've spent another £1 million. They've gone back to the same agency and said, well, we'd love the London, but can you expand it for us? And now they've got signs all over that say, we are Londoners. Because if it says Londoners, it's got the word one in it. Better than on. See? Genius. So they're going to have a similar thing for London. Red Ken will start a poster campaign asking politely if we will refrain from shooting our foreign visitors while at least the Olympic torch is lit. And if we would please not extinguish, steal, or otherwise impair the combustion of said torch.
With British Airways...
How may I help you?
How may I help you, Joseph?
Oh, there, Nick. I didn't know you were a Basement Jaxx fan.
Yes, I enjoy them a lot. And it was great seeing them in such a minute venue. I mean, there must have been 100, 200 people at most in this crowd, and they're a stadium act, so it was actually very enjoyable.
Yeah, small venues are really great. I think the best concert I ever went to in my life was the B-52s.
I love the B-52s.
I saw them it was like a club. It was it was before that album came out that had the Love Shack on it.
Yeah.
So So they weren't. We were
Good
trying to
Times,
really
right?
Commercial, you know.
Was it Good Times? Or have I got that totally wrong?
But that made them really big, mega commercial.
Yeah, it did.
Right
yeah.
before that, and I was able to stand right in front of the stage, and it was just a great show.
You were up the front. Did you touch them?
No, I wasn't that close. But and I thought one of the things I liked about them is they sounded, a lot of their songs sounded just like what they sounded on the album. So you go see a lot of bands and they don't sound the same. A lot of them are enhanced in the studio, and you just don't sound the same live. But
because I originally saw the Stones, and they sound pretty much the same live as they do on record, shambolic. And I thought maybe that's the reason they don't try much on their records. It's all a bit, we just rolled back from the pub, let's do it right now. Because live, that's about as good as they can get. I didn't think that they actually seemed like they could play very well. I know it sounds shocking because they've been on the road practicing nightly, for £1 million per night for about 2 years now. But they didn't seem very good musicians. Mick Jagger was incredible, but the others, they could have phoned their performance in, like I said last week.
Oh, well. You sound like you're enjoying the prospect of the Olympics.
I couldn't care less. Really, no one in London could care less about it. If we were honest, are we going to go? No, because the tickets are going to be £150 each, and you won't be able to get them because they'll all be snapped up by corporate people. And so, the only tickets that will be left will be for, I don't know, some like frisbee throwing or darts or whatever stupid sports they're going to throw at the Olympics this time.
Not to mention the congestion.
Yeah, and not to mention the fact that it's going to be, you're going to have to go through Canning Town to get there. No one will want to go. Everyone will enjoy the Olympics just as we normally do, on TV, except that this time we're going to have to pay for it.
Well, what about, and the Chinese are having the winter?
The Chinese are what?
Are they having the winter Olympics?
No, I don't know who's having a Winter Olympics. We're not too bothered about that in this country because, unlike the huge medal haul that we get on the Summer Olympics, we're virtually totally useless at snow sports.
Oh, they're having the next one, right? Beijing or something?
Well, they're having a summer one in 2008. Yeah. Nobody really pays attention. Like, when the Winter Olympics come out,
I don't know.
I suppose that whoever has it is preparing for it for years, and people who do a lot of snow, like supermodels, people like that, they're immeasurably excited. But it surprises us when it comes out. It's like, oh, blimey, has it finished? Is it over? Is it on?
I just found out, I think, recently that it's not the same year as the Summer Olympics.
No, it's the one in between, isn't it?
I didn't even all these years.
Oh, keep up, Joseph.
Okay, I'm not that keen about the Olympics.
No, well, no one cares about the Winter Olympics because all of those sports are silly, aren't they? I mean, there's 84 different types of skiing, and now they've got yo sports. They've got like skateboarder type sports in the snow, and that's just so dull to look at. Someone goes down a pipe and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth they go, and the guy with the bright orange hair wins every time. And just yawn, and so I think most of them are on drugs. they checked them for marijuana, and found that gosh, what a surprise! A lot of them were on it. You never guess looking at them, though, would you?
Well, I don't understand why they make such a big deal about drugs and all these other sports. Anyway.
Well, especially grass. I mean, it's not it's not a performance-enhancing drug. No, that's right. Not for anything except for perhaps listening to Pink Floyd. In fact, that's going to be a new Olympic sport this year.
Oh, there you go. If they do one going to concerts, maybe you can.
Yeah, that's right. Going to concert, hailing a cab. That's going to be an Olympic sport as well. Paying for it will be an Olympic sport, that's for sure.
The Olympics are going to push the costs of living up at all in London?
Yes, they will. That's what I'm saying. We'll watch it just like it was. If it was in France, we'd be watching it on TV. As it's in London, we'll still be watching it on TV because no one will be able to afford the tickets to go there, and they'll all be snapped up by IBM and ICI and all of these people, and they'll be throwing them at their corporate mates.
If tickets were affordable, would you go?
Not really, because I'm not interested really in, no, I can't think of anything that I'd really desperately want to see.
Back in the 80s, they had the Olympics in Los Angeles. I think was it 1980? I don't know. I was coming out of university, and I had thought about going. So I was living in America at the time, and then I just decided, can I really be bothered? It's just going to be hassle, crowds and mess, and so.
Yeah, and you're going to be 3 miles from whatever event it is you're trying to see, so you'll have to take your binoculars with you. You might as well just watch it on telly.
Yeah.
But the problem with having it here is we're going to have to pick up the bill. And it's not just the country, it's going to be us, personally, right here in London. So we're going to pay for it, but we're not going to go. It's like the worst of all worlds. And everyone's jumping up and down and thinking, yay, the Olympics. And
yeah, see how they kind of get conned into it all.
yes, and I do feel that we were conned into it all. We were railroaded into it. We were pushed along at a head of steam by a lot of people who had a vested interest in bringing it over here. You know, developers, for instance, they'll be right up there, rubbing their hands with glee. They've never seen so much money. All of it ours. Anyway, Joseph, keep your head down because, one of these days, immigration will catch up with you, all right? Thanks a lot, mate. Ta-ra.
I'm perfectly legal. Bye.
It's, Muck Blizzard.
It's MC Blizzard.
Hey, what does the MC stand for?
Nick, I wanted to make a point, but first of all, I made a website of LBC.
Hey, MC Blizzard, what does the MC stand for?
Mic control.
Oh.
My Pixar website. Do you, www.
One more time, what does the MC stand for? Oh, no, we have a loser. Can you believe that? That was that nice guy that called up a little while ago and he did a rhyme. Hey, have you got a rhyme for us?
Oh, yeah, actually I have. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah.
Hang on 1 second.
Yeah, okay. I'll put him on hold. It's one in Fleet. Hello, Richard. Hey, have we got a break? We don't have a break. No 55 break. Right, okay. Read the instructions as they're written on the screen, you moron. Is that what you're saying? Hello, Richard.
Hi, Nick. How are you?
I'm all right, thanks. That McBlizzard, he's great, isn't he?
Certainly interesting. Yeah, great show tonight.
Well, thanks. So far, you mean?
So far, obviously.
It can all go downhill from here.
Well, I'm actually going to say thank you.
You're welcome.
And that's because about 2 months ago, I contacted your unofficial website. I don't know if I can give out the address for that, but your unofficial website, and the gentleman on that gave me your contact details, and I sent you a card.
My contact details?
Your contact details, yes.
What contact details?
It was basically an address, because my girlfriend had just finished her university course, and she's a big fan of yours.
Who gave you my address?
Yes. Well, it was an address. I think I think it might be in the radio station address.
Oh right. Well, thank you.
Yeah, no, it wasn't. Yeah, it wasn't your home address. Don't worry. But yeah, so he gave me the address of the radio station, and I sent you a card. And you very kindly...
Oh, I remember, yeah. You wanted me, this really bizarre, roundabout way in order to wish happy birthday. Was it a birthday?
It was because she finished her university diploma. And,
right. And you wanted me to send her a card to congratulate her on passing her exams.
Yeah.
Right. So you sent me the card, and I signed it, and I sent it back. And you know what? It must have taken about 3 months to get back to you, because it came... I think it came to the wrong address.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so it arrived about 3 weeks after you sent it.
Okay.
And then, of course, I only used to come in at the weekends, and so I picked it up a week after it arrived, and so about a month, it was just way late. So
No, it was fine. It was. I want to say thank you for sending it, because when she got it, she actually started crying. She was very, very happy.
Oh.
So yeah, I don't think enough people say thank you in the world today. So I'm phoning you up now to say thank you.
Well, isn't that sweet? All right, well, thank you, Richard. I'll send you a card. Have you ever made her cry?
Have I ever made her cry?
Yeah. With happiness?
With happiness. Well, by doing that, she said thank you to me.
Right, so just me then? Not you, me.
Well, I'm sure when I tell her about
work on it, yeah. All right, thanks a lot, Richard.
Thanks a lot, Nick. Cheers.
Ta-ta. Hey, is McBlizzard still there? Hey, dude.
Huh?
Hey, it's you. McBlizzard. I'm going to call you, Vanilla Ice from now on. How's that?
Huh? You're going to call me what?
Have you got a rhyme for us?
Yes.
Go on, then.
I made it especially after our conversation a couple of weeks ago.
Can't wait. Got anything that rhymes with off?
Huh?
Go ahead.
What? Before I begin, you did
there's
say
a preamble.
a couple of weeks ago. You said that the people that got arrested for the terrorist charges were never going to get charged, didn't you?
Yeah, and I said, does anyone want to take that bet? And no one wanted to take that bet. Time's out.
Yeah, but you cut me off, so I couldn't take the bet.
Oh, well, I guess I owe you a lot of money then.
Yeah, you do.
So the,
You got it wrong, didn't you?
so the rhyme starts?
Okay, right. Here we go.
Right, he starts to warm up like he's going to take a long jump.
Nick Abbott, your stereotyping is sick. I wrong, and you say perfect, attack the young. You will never be a good presenter, you need a good understanding with the youth you see. That's why you will never compare with the likes of Ian Lee.
Yo, mother. You should speak to your mother more often. Oh, painful. Yeah, I was totally wrong about that guy. He doesn't want to be a black American. No, way out there.
On FM.
On. Come on, bienvenue, welcome, come on in.
Anyone have an argument on Wednesday? It was apparently the worst day of the year to have an argument. It's bucketing down outside. The summer holidays mean that you've been closeted with your loved one for longer than either of you might like, and your mother-in-law is on the phone asking if you're going to her for Christmas. It's a recipe for tension and makes August the 30th, Wednesday this week, the day that most couples have arguments. It is claimed. Relationship experts say that post-holiday depression, domestic chaos, financial strains and a lack of sunshine contribute to rows, and we've had a lack of that. By August the 30th, tensions have reached an all-time high as couples realise that their summer is over. And how depressing has that been? Because, July was great. For a couple of weeks there, we thought, like that, everyone was going. And then that segged into, oh, it's so hot. Oh, Struth, shut up. And, the very moment July ended, you look forward to August, and it said on the newspapers, August will be hotter than July. And was it? No, it wasn't. It just got worse and worse. And you looked at the 5-day forecast, and it was just a steady slope downwards. And you just clung on to the hope that it would we'd get another burst of heat, and we didn't. August has come and gone, and it was just the worst August ever. That's global warming for you. It's not happening fast enough. Is it? And does it look like, do you feel in your bones that we're going to get a late burst of summer in September? No, not really. It doesn't seem at all likely, does it? Pouring down with rain over most of the country, windy, like it would blow your wig off, and it's just a nightmare out there. Anyway, by August the 30th, tensions have reached an all-time high as couples realise that their summer is over. This often manifests itself in bickering and needless arguments. Christina Tate of Divorce Aid, a website for those going through divorce, said the peak time for divorces being initiated was just after the August bank holiday. There's an upsurge in requests, she said. There's another peak after Christmas, but September is often the time when families have been together and are disappointed with their holiday. Most common subjects to argue about? Money, sex, work, children, and housework. Money, sex, work, children, housework. Hey, Lucy.
Hey, Nick.
You won't have sex with me even if I pay you any more. The kids aren't earning any money, and look at the muck in here. What do you have to say for yourself?
I didn't argue on Wednesday at all.
Didn't you?
No.
Well, even though you've been at home with your loved ones for, 3 weeks. Very suspicious, by the way, that you took the week before your holiday as illness. Everybody was looking at, oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
But actually, that was only one day. So it wasn't really the week, but it just seemed like that.
Right.
It was only one day. But no, we didn't bicker at all.
At all?
No, well, it was actually our wedding anniversary as well, in that last end of August.
I haven't got anything for weddings, so
well, that was
I'll
as good as.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we did actually watch someone have an argument on our wedding anniversary in a restaurant.
Oh, right.
And the girl was actually crying eating her dinner. And then she kept trying to recover and smile a lot, and then she'd start crying again. But the trouble is, I just couldn't stop watching because it was sort of tragic to see,
Oh, what was she eating?
I didn't notice. She was in my eye line. And then my husband kept saying, "You're not really paying much attention to me." And I said, "The thing is, there's this girl crying behind you."
See, you were bickering.
Well, no, that's not bickering. You know, that's just noticing.
Like a plaintive wail in the wilderness.
Yeah.
Me, he's saying.
Yeah. It was sad though. I think because a lot of couples, when you see them out eating in restaurants, look like they're really bored and don't want to be talking to one another at all.
Yeah.
Sort of just sit
yes.
there.
Was she crying after the bill had been presented?
No, she had a couple of glasses of wine, and I think that kind of kicked it off a bit.
Right, so it wasn't the price of the meal.
No, it wasn't the price. She didn't pay for it. It wasn't. But I just think they were having some issues, and apparently they'd already had this argument before. I heard
What,
her
that
say.
he wanted her to pick up half the bill? Quite right, too. Have you ever been to one of those restaurants where they give different menus to men and women? Only the men get a menu with prices on it?
Does happen.
Isn't that shocking?
Yeah.
I couldn't
that is.
believe that when that happened.
Yeah, I know. Well,
I mean, how outrageous is that? As though a woman wouldn't want to sully her little mind with the price of things. It's incredible.
I think a lot of people go Dutch, though, these days, don't they, all the time?
Dutch food, I don't know, what is that, like sliced cheese and meats? They look good on it, though.
Well, yeah.
Oh, a little bit of a raised eyebrow there. Is there perhaps a story you would like to tell us?
No, to do with the Dutch, no.
Yeah, no?
No, not on this occasion.
Right. Hey, you know what? We had a no end of calls when you were away. You frightened them all away.
Oh, no.
Look at that board. Absolutely
I'm
empty.
sorry.
Oh, I couldn't keep
I'll
up with it. I had all of these stories clipped out, and most of these I've been carrying around about 3 weeks now because I couldn't actually get a word in edgeways because I had to keep dealing with all of these callers. And then you come back and look at them.
And now you can get through reams of paper.
Yeah, I know. Corrupt Britain. I'll talk about this for a moment. Now, when you think of corrupt countries, you think, South American dictatorships, countries in Africa, places like that, where all aid money from places like us is just sucked up and bought and is spent on Rolls Royces and flash homes in the south of France from whoever happens to be running the country that week. Well, Britain is high on the list of the world's most corrupt countries, along with the United States and Switzerland, because of the refuge it offers to dirty money in tax havens such as the Channel Isles and the Isle of Man, researchers said yesterday. Britain deserves inclusion high on any list of corrupt countries because of its pinstripe infrastructure of financial advisors squirreling away money offshore and because of its reluctance to close down its tax havens, the Royal Geographical Society's annual conference was told. While the amount of corruption in developing countries is reliably estimated at 20 billion a year. This is amazing. So, all the corruption that we're worried about in developing countries, all of those places where we go and send aid, and we know pretty much that if you send it there, the people on the streets are never going to see it. It's all going to be, buying gold taps for, the people who are running the show. 20 billion a year is being squirreled away into the bank accounts of criminals in developing countries. If you add us into the mix, that 20 billion a year becomes 539 billion a year. So we're way ahead of them as far as corruption goes. They're like minnows compared to us. So 20 billion for them. When you add us in, it adds an extra almost 520 billion. I mean, we're like professionals at this. And we all think that we're very, us, no one corrupt in this country, we're stiff upper lip and all that sort of thing. We would never do anything, untoward. Yeah, just keep looking the other way. A Mr. Christensen, who is head of Tax Justice Network, whose research is funded by the Joseph Rowntree Foundation, said the Chancellor, Gordon Brown, is failing to carry out his promise to go after large-scale corporate tax avoiders because of a reluctance to alter Britain's perception as a low-tax nation. Instead of going after the corrupt super-rich, the Chancellor has placed the burden of taxation on, guess who? That's right, us. We are being made to make up the shortfall. So they're letting all of these corporations, all of these people who work in the city, who look like they're, upstanding gents, who go to work in their nice three-piece suits and all the pinstripe brigade and umbrella, all that lot, giant criminals, and we're having to pay for what they are screwing out of the rest of us. Amazing. Because, the government can't be bothered, or won't be bothered, to go after them. Of course, a lot of those people are mates of people in the government. And the people who are in the government, or who just MPs in general, will be looking to these pinstriped criminals for, a nice, comfortable job when they leave. So it's not in their interests to go after them. Much easier to go after poor saps like you and me, who don't earn any money anyway, and are taxed until we stand still. And we think, where is all this money going? Well, the answer is staring you right in the face. The money is going straight into the bank accounts of all the criminals who work in the square mile. Amazing. I mean, if I'd offered you £100,000 and asked you to make a list of the top 5 most corrupt countries in the world, would you have put us in there? No. You'd have thought, I don't know. Let's name them, shall we? They'll be on the phone to us immediately. A professor of accounting at Essex University accused Mr Brown of losing an estimated $150 billion a year to organised tax avoidance by large corporations because he was reluctant to tackle them. So if you wonder why you're always struggling along, trying desperately to scratch a living, but there seems to be so many people who are doing fantastically well and buying £1 million houses and wafting by in their Porsches and Aston Martins, that's the reason why. They're all crooks. The entire square mile, pretty much. Pinstripe crooks, the lot of them. Well, not the lot of them, obviously. There's a couple who were all right. You have to say that, don't you? Because we get sued into a black hole in space.
The home of
Have you got any kids? No kids?
No.
So you haven't got any of those poems that you stick to the fridge and everyone goes, oh, like that. Little drawings of Mummy and Daddy in a big house with smoke coming out the chimney. Nothing like that yet. Because I've been carrying this around for a little while. I guess this was just this week. Dear God letters from children. Children's cute letters to the Almighty, lovingly handwritten, these touching messages sum up innocence and wisdom of youth. Dozens of youngsters were asked to write letters to God for a new book, and their words capture the hopes, fears and cheeky humour of the children. Many are also piercingly accurate and thought-provoking, like the question posed by a young lad named Charles in his note. Dear God, do you know about things before they're invented? Spelt wrong. Well, he was just 5. But the Sun has printed some of them in this new book. Dear God, did you mean a giraffe to look like that, or was it an accident? Oh. Dear God, who draws the lines around the countries? Dear God, are you really invisible, or is it just a trick? Dear God, is it true my father won't get in heaven if he uses his bowling words in the house? His bowling words? Dear God, on Halloween, I am going to wear a devil's costume. Is that all right with you? Dear God, do animals use you, or is there somebody else for them? What? Dear God, I read the Bible. What does begat mean? No one will tell me. Have we had any women yet?
What, ring up?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, my God. Hey, Steve.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm all right, mate.
I wanted to talk about radio. I wonder whether, if they did away with playlists, whether it would be any better in this country.
Oh, well, it would be more interesting. I'm not sure it would be more listenable, but it would be more interesting.
Because, I mean, it's just the same records rotating.
Over and over and over and over and over and over again, yeah.
And also now the DJs don't even, they just don't, it's all computerised, isn't it? So, you can't change it. So, I'm going to be a devil's star and play what I want to play, you know.
Yeah, you'd last about 10 seconds if you went off list, yeah.
So are you not allowed any choice at all?
No, no one is. Well, there's very few DJs who do specialist shows that no one listens to on, tiny radio stations late at night at the weekend. They maybe get a choice, which is a list of virtually no one at all.
Oh, I see, so you...
Everyone else just presses the button marked next. There's a big green button marked next on the desk, and you just press that.
Oh, dear. So if it goes wrong, what happens if the computer breaks down?
Well, that's an excellent question, because no one's got CDs anymore. It's just all on pewter, and if it breaks down, Well, you'd have to turn it into a talk show.
Yes, but then that would really shock the fire. It'd be good if you could, sabotage your studio in the middle of the night when people go in there in the morning. Oh dear, this computer won't work. I wonder why.
Well, you know what? People are starting up their own radio stations. And it used to be that you needed £1 million and government approval, but now all you need is a computer and a phone line.
Oh,
The revolution has started.
Good, I'm glad. So, is one allowed to ask, apart from when you're working at LBC, what do you listen to?
CDs, mostly.
Oh, you don't listen to radio at all?
Yeah, I mean, I listen to LBC, obviously. I listen to a lot of American talk shows, specifically Neil Rogers and Phil Hendry and Howard Stern, who are, superb.
Well, I presume you'd have to listen to those on the internet.
On the internet, of course, yeah.
Well, what about
God for the internet.
people like me that haven't got the internet? There's nothing to listen to except for LBC, which is talking, which is really good, but sometimes I want to listen to music and it's just the same old records over and over again.
Well, there's music shops these days. You can go out and buy a selection of your own.
Yeah.
Not happy with that.
Well, yeah, but it's just that there were people like Johnny Walker in the days of the pirate stations just went on there, was able to play what he wanted to play. Then he came and worked for BBC, and he had to conform.
I don't know that that's actually true. I mean, the Pirates was a business, just like everything else. They probably had a playlist. I don't know that that's true or not, but I would guess that they did have some kind of playlist that they stuck to.
Anyway,
the top 40 or whatever it happened to be at the time.
I know, but it's just be so nice if you could go to the studio and think, right, I'll play a bit of Pink Floyd, then I'll play a bit of, you know what I mean.
Free-form radio doesn't exist anymore, except in people's bedrooms. Like I said, you want to get yourself hooked up to the net, mate.
Oh, well...
Oh, come on, step into the 80s.
That'll be good. Into the 80s?
Yeah. You're being left behind.
Anyway, thank you, Nick, for talking to me.
Not at all.
And take care.
Ta-da, Steve.
Bye.
Let's have Tallulah.
Hello, you.
Hello, you.
Oh.
How's your parrot?
It's a good-looking budgie.
Right.
And has a good figure compared to those fat men on the road.
Hey, do you still keep it in a plastic bag?
All sorts of, yeah.
You keep it in a plastic bag?
Bubble. I call it the bubble.
The bubble,
bubble.
right.
Yes.
Don't zip lock it.
Well, it's locked with a lot of holes to have the air to breathe.
Yeah, it has to have a little bit of air to breathe.
Yeah.
Not a lot. I mean, let's not get carried away, but just a little bit, yeah.
It's just ants flying wild in the home, yeah. Rock and roll. You know what?
What?
I was completely right last week about the wheelie bins.
What do you mean you were right?
Because the Germans had it first. And they gave this horrible idea to the Brits, which is not difficult nowadays with internet and everything.
Oh, the transmission of information, yeah, it's just gone through the roof, hasn't it? Well, what you're talking about is the electronic chip that is now being placed, unbeknownst to you, in your wheelie bin in order to spy on you to see what you're throwing out. And, of course, if you're throwing out the wrong things, they will fine you. That's what that's all about, yeah, and it's a German chip, and apparently you're saying it was a German idea.
It just sounds so German, and that's why I was completely right. Because the Germans had it first, and nowadays with internet there's no borderlines anymore. Within no time, the Brits get,
screwed too.
Idea.
Yeah, because it doesn't sound like to us. It doesn't sound like a German idea. It sounds like a British idea. It's because just another way to fine you in order to interfere with your private business. That just sounds totally British to us now. It didn't used to sound British. Like 20 years ago, you wouldn't think of it. But these days, we've just kind of got used to having a camera pointing at our every crevice, every moment of the day. And it'll shortly there'll be toilet cams soon. And if you produce too much, you'll be fined too.
Yeah, I'm sure it has got the German origin. I'm absolutely sure.
So they stick their nose where it doesn't belong as well, eh?
Do you know the band Budgie?
Budgie, yes, that's going back a bit. I don't know much about them, but they were a pub rock band from the 70s, right?
You see, I never knew anything about that band, apart from my guitar teacher who told me about it. And I always came across the band Budgie on the internet when I was looking for my Budgie information. And I always thought, get out of my way, because they kept interfering in my search. And now, with the internet, I got to know them, and actually the guitarist linked me on his site, and the link is Budgie Sammy, meaning Budgie, the link to the real Budgie website, the Budgie band, and Sammy to my Budgie's own website.
Well, I have, you're kind of losing me a little, Tallulah, but to fill everybody else in, you are a rock royalty. You are a Schenker. Now, there was a couple of Schenkers. One was Michael Schenker, and the other was Rudolph?
Yeah.
Rudolph the Red-Nosed Schenker, yeah, and they were in bands like the Scorpions, Michael Schenker Group, a lot of, German metal acts. And you're their sister, right?
I am. And you are playing Planet Rock. You're playing them all the time.
Yeah, without mentioning any other radio stations' names, yeah.
I didn't.
I think you did.
I said rock and roll.
Oh, that's what you said, yeah. No, that's what I thought, yeah. But, and so, right, so you're getting together with other musicians who also used to be big in the, in decades past. And it's almost like a love-in over there.
Absolutely.
And it's all due to the fact that you have a parrot.
It's all down to the fact that I've got a beautiful Budgie.
Budgie, right.
Hello, you.
I thought there was something else going to... So what have you been doing then, Tallulah?
Well, I think I was abusing the net, the guitar and the keyboards.
You were what?
I were abusing the internet, the guitar and the keyboard.
You were abusing the internet? No... Okay, talk me through this.
Going to bed very late because being busy on the net, the guitar and the keyboard.
Now, are you saying that you were busy on the net, and you were busy on the guitar, and you were busy on the keyboards, or are you saying you were busy on the net, guitar, keyboards? Because the latter doesn't make any sense.
No, it's time sharing. It's the net is on, the computer is on, from the computer it goes back to the guitar, from the guitar it goes back to the keyboard.
Right. Well, where do you fit in TV?
The TV?
Yeah.
The TV is off.
Off? Off? It's got an off switch?
I do. I only switch it on when I want to see the front entrance, because I've got a camera to the front entrance.
Really?
Yeah, to spy what people talk about me.
Ah, was that a German idea as well?
That came from me because I had the camera lying around and people were doing silly things to my scooter.
The mind boggles.
Well, useful.
Right, so now you've got a camera pointed at your scooter, and that's what you watch on TV?
I tell you, it's the best Big Brother ever.
It's the best programme ever, yeah.
Yes.
Huh. Well, it sounds like you need a little bit of excitement. It's a good job you're hooked up to the net, with all the excitement that's available on there. Otherwise you'd just be looking at your moped all the time.
Oh, absolutely. No, it's quite yin-yang equalized.
Right, again you're losing me.
Well,
so that's what you've been doing all week, just playing around?
Well, what did you do?
Precious little, come to think of it. Yeah, I watched The Sopranos. I went to see Basement Jaxx. Oh, there was two things.
What sort of band is that?
Basement Jaxx. Oh, they do music that's... you'd hate it. It's kind of like this.
I heard it before.
Crazy dance music. They're very good. They actually have a guitarist. You might like it.
Wow.
But it's not rock and roll.
It doesn't sound like it at all.
No.
Who did guide you into this sort of level?
I found it myself, with both hands.
Good, okay. I sometimes listen to classical music as well, yeah.
So we've got someone who wants to talk to you.
Oh, wow.
Hey, Steve.
Hiya. Hi, Nick. Hi, Tallulah. It's Steve. Right, Tallulah, are you on MySpace at all?
I am.
Oh, right, because I'm with, I'm basically gone to because of Ian Lee. Basically, I'm the actor Stephen O'More, and I do some music work. My cousins at Osborne Pay of a band called Dead Can Dance.
I think that we'll let them continue, and we'll pan away and then back again after the love making.
90973.
Well, let's get back to it.
Top government buildings are to be made terror-proof at a cost of £25 million. The security services fear an Al-Qaeda-style attack on a high-profile British target, so hundreds of bollards and grass pools will be placed outside buildings around Whitehall to foil suicide bombers. 25 million quid. Huh. Meanwhile, the soldiers that we're sending out to you-know-where have been equipped with rifles that jam in the sand, boots that melt in the heat, and vehicles with all the armoured qualities of tin foil. But at least our politicians will be safe. Here's Philip in South Norwood.
Good evening, Nick.
Oh, it's Mr. Listman.
Yeah, well, yes, I don't know how I got that reputation.
Because you always got lists.
Me last week on the Clive show about lists.
Yeah, well, you always come with a list. I bet you've got at least...
it's a story in today's Daily Mirror. Actually, got two things. First of all, a story in today's Daily Mirror.
Yes, a list of things.
In America, they're bringing out a new set of 39-cent stamps with Batman, Wonder Woman, and Superman, and 7 other superheroes on.
Yeah, they've got all sorts of crazy ideas for stamps.
Yes, crazy. And well, I wondered, because in Australia, you can have your picture on a stamp.
What?
Oh, yeah, what they do... I was out there a couple of years, and what it is, you go in and you get a form, and you send in a picture of yourself, and you say what stamp value you want, and then they send them to you. On one side, there will be your picture, and on the other side will be the value of the stamp. So they are completely legal stamps. So you could have your picture on a stamp and send it to all your friends. Wouldn't that be nice?
But how come... But you've got to stick one side on the letter.
That's right. No, it's on the same side, Nick.
Well, you said on one side...
Well, I mean, it's on one side, but in two parts. On one side of... It's on one... This is on one side.
I don't know. Your whole argument is beginning to fall apart here, Philip. You're making this up.
Pardon?
Go on.
One side and one side. So, on the left side...
Right.
Sorry. Left side would be the value of the stamp. And on the right side would be your picture.
Can it be your picture, doing anything?
Well, I presume so. I suppose you could have your family on there, and then send your family a stamp of you. But I was also looking on the internet to see what other countries...
I bet you were.
Well, when I read this, I thought might as well. And I came up with 2 countries. Zaire have got stamps with Freddie Mercury, Elvis, Sinatra, Bowie, and Tina Turner on.
A list.
Yeah, well, sorry, Betty, if you're listening. And in Mali, which I think is in Africa, isn't it? They got James Dean, John Wayne, and Marilyn Monroe on their stamps.
Why?
So I don't know. I suppose they think that people will buy them, But do you look at stamps when you buy them?
No, I just get a book, and it's, it's got the Queen's profile.
Yeah.
A very young and suspiciously young-looking Queen, by the way.
Yes, and first or second class or whatever it is.
I go first class all the way. It's the only first class I ever see.
The other thing I wanted to mention, Nick, I usually go into record shops.
No.
Well, I was in one today, and I came across a bargain. I just had to buy it. It was £1.50. Do you remember Tiny Tim?
Yes. Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Yes. And he married his girlfriend on the Johnny Carson show back in the 1960s, Miss Vicky.
Miss Vicky?
Yeah. He had a high-pitched voice.
Yeah, he did.
And a carrier bag.
Oh, carrier bag.
And I bought this record.
What was in the bag?
I don't know, we never found out.
Right, like the Queen.
And I bought this record, it was reduced from £3 down to £1.50.
You were ripped off, mate.
And he sings, There'll Always Be an England, Bless Them All, and Tipperary. Would you like to hear Tipperary?
OK, let's have hands up through there. Would we like to hear Tipperary? Hands up for yes, and hands up for no. Well, it's a tie. So let's say, OK then. All right, that's enough. OK, thanks for it. I think that's plenty. All right, cheers, mate. Okay, we've had enough now. That's just
You want
fine.
any more?
No.
Because, I mean, that was recorded, would you believe?
I mean, Tiny Tim, if the only thing that we want to hear from Tiny Tim is Tiptoe Through the Tulips.
Yeah, couldn't find that. I said to the guy behind the counter, have you got... No, he said, that's the only one I've got left.
Listen, didn't you play something that was bloopers a little while ago?
Yes, I did.
Now, where's my copy of that?
I'm still working on it, but I will
Working
get it to
on
you.
it? Why don't you send me the original CD in the post?
It's not a CD, it's an LP.
Oh.
Yeah,
there we have a
LP.
problem. We've got no facilities
that's
to
what I
play vinyl.
So I'm working on it, Nick. I haven't forgotten.
Working on it?
Well, I mean, so much going on, but I will do it.
yeah,
I will get it to you because
find
it
a
really
window
is
in
a
your
good,
busy schedule, yeah.
It's a very, very good LP. I tell you, I'm looking forward to next week.
Why is that?
Well, you know this girl, was it Nikki? Was she on Big Brother?
Nikki?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, Nikki, yeah.
She's going to be on next week, Gutting Fish.
Going to be on what next week?
She's going to be on a TV programme called Princess Nikki, and she's going to be gutting fish. So I'm really looking forward to that, aren't you?
Well...
It's Wednesday, 10 o'clock, and it says she spends the day gutting fish.
And what does she say at the end?
I hate it! I don't know, because isn't she going on that show that Ian Lee does, I believe?
Which
She's
one?
going to be helping him on Celebrity Soup.
Celebrity Soup?
Yeah, you know the show that Ian does on the E channel?
I
He
don't.
was talking about it.
What's that then?
Oh, well, I told me not to see it the other week. It's the best way to describe it is a satirical Harry Hill's TV Burt type programme.
Right, Harry Hill's not involved, is he?
No.
phew.
What, with Nicky? No. What it is, he looks like they show reality.
Can anybody, Harry Hill, by the way, just let me interrupt you for a second.
Yeah,
Harry,
sure.
Does anybody get Harry Hill? Like, I mean, he's got a big collar.
Yeah, I think he's
and that's
funny.
it. You think he's funny?
I do, yes, I do. I genuinely do. I think his TV Burp programme is one of the funniest programmes on TV.
Okay. Maybe I'll give it a go.
Yeah,
I've just kind of written him
also,
off.
He has turned around that dreadful You've Been Framed programme. Because, I mean, you had people making out they were falling over, but he has turned it in with his commentary into a programme, you get a laugh just from his commentary.
Well, I haven't seen it in a while. It's funny watching people, fall on their arse.
I think
it just is funny. But I kind of doubt that he writes his own. I mean, people who present that program, they don't write their own commentary, do they?
I think he may have a lot of input, but I do think that a lot of, the script writers would go out of business, wouldn't they, if they didn't get the chance to work. I mean, all the famous comedians have had script writers, Bob Hope, Bob Monkhouse, although he wrote a lot of his own material. Who makes you laugh, Nick?
What, that you've heard of?
Yes.
Like, without mentioning American talk show
You can
hosts?
mention American comedians.
Well, Neil Rogers makes me laugh. He's an American talk show host. Chris Rock, I think he's one of the funniest stand-ups I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Who else?
Somebody during the week phoned in Ian Lee's Mixed Mental Mayhem and played a little snippet of Lily Tomlin. Do you remember Lily Tomlin?
Well, she was funny when she used to do the telephone operator.
Somebody played it, a little snippet, and she was talking about all the phone companies and saying that not only is it Bell, now it's Ma Bell, Baby Bell, all the bells, everybody can start their own phone company.
Right, I guess you had to be there.
Yeah, because she was Ernestine, wasn't she? She played the telephone operator.
Yeah, I won't launch into an impression. I've got it in my mind, but I thought, in my mind it sounds perfect. When it comes out my mouth, it won't sound anything like it.
Because that was Rowan Martin's Laughing, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. And I always was confused about the end of Rowan Martin's Laughing. You remember how it ended? It used to be like a noise of like a.
Yes.
It was a noise.
Yeah, that...
Like that, and I had no idea what that was, and
I think it was somebody
you
giving
can't get a word in edgeways with this bloke, can you?
Because, the people that were in it,
eventually I did work out that it was one person clapping at the end of the programme, which is a very sort of downbeat way to end a comedy show.
Yeah, it was a weird programme, because you had the, was it Judy Carn, the English girl, she was the one who kept getting all the custard pies with Sock It To Me and Goldie Hawn.
And the guy in the tin hat who used to come up and say,
oh yes, what was his name? Artie Johnson.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Artie Johnson, and of course there was, oh dear, look, Goldie Hawn, I say we mentioned Goldie Hawn. Oh dear, I think there's somebody, Richard Dawson was in it, I believe.
Desperate to come up with another list.
No, Richard Dawson, because he was one of the husbands of Diana Dawes, later went on to do, Hogan's Heroes, that series with, Bob Crane about the prisoners of war. The comedy series.
Right. But it all used to be, 60s and happening and groovy. Yeah, mostly groovy.
And who was the chap who did poems? It was in the film Nashville, Henry Gibson.
Yeah, that's the very interesting guy.
That's the one. And what was that? Ruth Buzzy. Ruth Buzzy was the one who wore the hairnet.
Yes, these are memories, what memories, eh? It's like list after list, and you wonder why I call you the list man.
Oh, I'm sorry, I hope Betty's not listening. She really tore me to pieces last week.
Getting torn to pieces by a woman called Betty. That doesn't sound possible, does it?
Yes.
Like being savaged by a sheep.
Oh, I hope she's not going to phone in tonight. She'll have a go at me. Anyway, Nick, have a good week.
Oh. Thanks. Thanks, Philip.
Okay, Nick.
Phew, I'm exhausted.
Yowza.
Groovy. This is LBC.
Abbott.
Come on, we're running late!
I've been carrying this around, apropos of nothing at all, for absolutely ages. This just struck me. This is one of these offers from a newspaper. I think in order to make more money, they just... they team up with a manufacturer of something or other, like elasticated waisted action slacks, things like that, or shoes that you can buy for $12.99 and get a second pair free. It's stuff that they just can't give away. And so they team up with these manufacturers every now and again and have a special offer in the newspaper. And this was in the Telegraph. Personalised leather purse. Made from soft yet hard-wearing leather, our smart lady's purse wallet is perfectly proportioned to slip into a handbag or pocket, yet still large enough to carry cash, credit card, coins and other essentials. You can also have it personalised with up to 3 initials in smart gilt letters. And they've illustrated this with 3 initials in smart gilt letters that are on the front of this purse thing. And the 3 initials that they've chosen are S-A-P. SAP. Of all the... you think that whoever chose that, because, you'd have to actually go and select those initials, right? And then you would have a meeting to decide whether, in any language that anyone can think of, would these initials actually be anything rude? Because you wouldn't have anything that began with an F, for instance, even though it was only 3 letters. And so you'd actually have to check it. And so it seems like it's unlikely that it just by happenstance happened to be to have the word SAP on it for anyone considering buying a soft yet hard-wearing smart ladies' purse wallet. SAP. Only $12.95. It just struck me as being really... I think someone is having a laugh with the readers of the Daily Telegraph. Here's one in Wallington. Hello, Joan.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Joan.
Nick, you're talking about the weather.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, and you were saying, this global warming's great, isn't it? Freezing cold August,
exactly.
pouring rain. Lovely, isn't it? And, of course, they did forecast a heat wave. But I was just wondering, have you heard about the other thing about the weather, which is controlling the rainfall?
How do you mean?
Well, they call it the silver rain in Thailand. And it's where they go up above the clouds and they spray the cloud with a silver something pellets. It's not silver oxide, it's not silver nitrate, it's silver something. And these pellets then either make the clouds pour down with rain in that spot, or it stops them from raining and moves them on somewhere else.
Yeah, I think Russia used to do that when they had those great military parades. They used to spray noxious chemicals into the air in order to rid it of rain, because you wouldn't want to get wet.
They spray them up in the air.
Meanwhile, everyone's dying of poison.
Well, this is the other way about. They go above the clouds. America, Russia, China, Thailand. And in Thailand, they actually do. All the people just call it silver rain. And they're doing it all over the place, and probably in this country, see. That's the thing. They're probably doing it in this country. But nobody's saying. And what happened in the 50s was that one of the first experiments was in a place called Lynmouth in Devon. And they actually did it there, and they wiped out the whole village.
And only now are admitting that they've done anything,
Well,
and
because of
people's
thing is-
families are queuing up for compensation. Yeah.
Well, they know after 50 years, because they haven't been allowed to talk about it between now and then, but 50 years have gone by, and people are now talking about it. So presumably anybody who's interested in compensation is dead.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, they're talking about it just in time that everyone's dead. And if they're not dead now, then they'll make sure that they are. They'll be walked into the middle of a field somewhere where they will, in inverted commas, commit suicide. Yeah. Happens all the time.
Well, the thing is, why aren't people sort of raging in the streets about this? Because I don't quite like the idea of America controlling my clouds and my rain and my water. You know, I'm not that happy
Blame
about
America.
it.
We have just as many underhand tactics. We got plenty of underhand goings on to worry about ourselves.
Go on, tell me one then.
Well,
Go on.
You just mentioned them, Joan.
What?
We used to feed acid, like actual LSD, to our troops, just to see what happened.
Do you know-
and they all went crazy, and
Where was that?
couldn't
Which sort of war was that then?
It was, well, it would have been the Second World War, wouldn't it? Just
Really?
before.
They did in the Second World War?
Just before.
LSD?
Yeah, why not?
I thought it was a bit later than that. I didn't realise they knew about LSD then.
And they used to drop poison onto their, I can't remember exactly what poison it was, but they used to drop it onto their hands and telling the soldiers that it was, like a cold cure or something like that.
Oh,
Don't worry,
they
nothing
did
to worry
experiments,
about.
didn't they? They
and
did,
and they poisoned them to death. They actually killed them.
Yeah, yeah.
But that was here, in this
well,
country.
It's true. I know. And the thing is, it's almost like, if I say America's doing it, it's like we're doing it anyway, because whatever America does, we're doing. But then, yes, I know we do dreadful things too. And America does some nice things, I'm sure.
Well, they got Disneyland. They got all sorts of nice things over there, Joan.
And where?
They got, I don't know, fairground rides and hot dogs. Oh, there's no end of nice things
Well,
over
those
there.
are the lovely things,
Yeah.
yes. Apart from that. But no, I just wondered if you'd heard about this and
Silver
wondered
rain.
how widespread the knowledge was, because, they were even thinking about, well, they did try it at the G8 summit, because they said, well, we don't want the rain there, we'll move it over to Finland for the G8 summit. And they thought, oh, yes, we could do this over Glastonbury and stop it being a field of mud. Move the clouds on.
No, what you do to Glastonbury to stop it being a field of mud is move it to July. How much evidence do you need that it rains in June? It rains
Yes.
and it's freezing cold and year after year after year it happens. Just move it to July. So what that it's not on the longest day of the year? Who cares? You just want it to be warm. Because the thing with Glastonbury and any
It's got to be
festival...
on the right day, though, hasn't it?
the weekend and any festival is that the one thing that you want to do more than anything else most of the weekend is sit down.
Well,
and the
yes,
one thing you
yes.
cannot do when it's
Exactly.
wet underfoot is sit down.
I think they sit down anyway, don't you?
No, they don't.
Anyway, it's got to be on the 21st of June, hasn't it?
Why?
Well, because that's the solstice.
Like I said, who cares?
They care.
No, they don't. Everybody that goes to Glastonbury couldn't care less whether it's the solstice or not. They just want to go and see
music and a bit of
Kylie
the other.
Minogue and R.E.M. and whoever it might be that year. They just want to sneak in as many drugs as they possibly can and go mental for the weekend.
That's about it, really. I'm
And that
glad
it's
I
the
haven't
longest
gone down
day is
there.
totally irrelevant. Those are the hippies that go around Stonehenge.
Well, some of them, you see, some of them do care. I know
No, they
some
don't.
of them care.
No, they don't. Seriously, they do not care. The people that go to Glastonbury couldn't care less. They just want it to be warm
I know
and dry.
I know somebody that used to care.
Used to.
Yes,
That it was the solstice.
and it was a solstice.
No.
Yeah.
No, Joan.
They actually went to Stonehenge and everything.
Right, you see, Stonehenge. That's not Glastonbury. Totally different.
Well,
Glastonbury.
you just mentioned Stonehenge.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
That's the same lot that goes
Oh,
to
jeez, why are you arguing with me about this?
Look.
I'm totally right. People go to Glastonbury and they want the weather to be nice. They don't care whether it's the longest day or not.
Look, I rang up for an argument.
You did?
Yes.
Okay, thanks, Joan. Is that the argument, lady? It's not the argument, lady.
That's Chris in Crouch End.
How can you remember stuff like that?
Because she phones all the time.
Does she? Does she phone this show all the time? And I just, she gets, waylaid at the first fence.
I think you've ruined her plan.
Whew. Anyway, am I right about that? Absolutely, yes. So the papers have arrived a little bit early. That's very suspicious. I better wait till tomorrow, though, before we get into tomorrow's news today. See what I mean about these calls? You frightened them all away. When you were away, I'm not kidding, the 3 weeks that you were away, Luce, I had more calls than I could actually get through. They were pouring in. And the moment you come back, look at that, dead as a doornail.
What about a lightning round?
No.
Why?
No, I don't want to do a lightning round.
I bet that's why you had loads of calls.
No, I didn't do a lightning round. I didn't do any of that stuff when you were away. I didn't want to, you know.
I heard some when I was sickly in my bed.
Huh?
Yeah.
You must have been hallucinating.
I was very ill.
Okay, what do you want to hear? You want to hear postal junk. This was kind of weird this week. And talk about shooting yourself in the foot big time. A postman has been suspended after delivering his own leaflets telling fed-up householders how to cancel junk mail. Everybody has heard about this, right? If they hadn't have suspended the guy, no one would have heard about it. The Royal Mail is failing to give customers sufficient information on how to avoid receiving its junk mail deliveries, a consumer watchdog said yesterday, having been alerted to the fact by the Royal Mail itself. The accusation follows the suspension of Roger Annies, a postman who told people on his round how they could stop receiving unsolicited letters and flyers. It shouldn't be difficult for customers to opt out, a spokesman for Postwatch said. They have the choice. At the moment, it's a little prohibitive. And the reason is because the Royal Mail makes millions of pounds a year sending us stuff that goes from our letterbox straight into the bin. Anything that's addressed to the householder or the occupier, although these days they get around that by actually addressing it to you personally. Mr. Annis, this postman from Barry in South Wales, put leaflets through his customers' doors with information about opting out, including a slip that could be filled in and sent to the sorting office. He was suspended on full pay after the local office received 70 slips. The Royal Mail said it would not comment on individual cases. It's just desperately trying to sweep it under the carpet, having swivelled the spotlight on it. You know, they're going to lose. Everybody in this country should fill out that form, but they've made it as hard as they possibly can. The service to stop them sending you this tripe is not advertised anywhere, and no details could be found during a search of the company's website. They keep switching the address. The door-to-door opt-out service has changed its address several times, and most people who finally do find the address or the phone number have to both phone and write. Well, you can't tell them once, you've got to tell them twice. We're proud to offer an opt-out service, a spokesman for the Royal Mail says. That's a new use of the word proud that we're not familiar with. However, he acknowledged that the address to write to had changed twice, and it had not been publicised on the Royal Mail website. So how are you supposed to find out about it? No one knows. We don't publicise all of our services, he said. We have so many of them. Right. Just happen to be the one that they don't publicise. So, I don't know, do you want me to give out these things? Does the Royal Mail advertise with us? They could be thinking about doing just that. So if you want to find out about it, then you have to email. Not email, you have to Google it. Or web search it. And then I bet you'll come up with nothing at all. It'll be impossible to find. But you know what? If they had just said to the guy, oh, please don't do that again. You know, it's where we're getting all of our money now. You're killing us over here. If they just said that, nothing would have happened. But because they suspended him, and they got all medieval on him, then now the entire country knows, and we're all busy making a mental note to go and do it. But we won't. Because we can't be bothered. Just like we can't be bothered to change our broadband supplier. We see all these things all over the place. Oh, broadband is free now, or it's only a fibre, and we think, But the last time we changed or had our broadband switched on, it was the nightmare from hell. Oh, yeah, we'll do it this Thursday. Is anybody going to be there between 12 and 1? And like 3 weeks afterwards, and still nothing has happened. You're not getting any phone calls, you're not getting any broadband, and we've got ads to go. Oh, struth. Anyway, so we won't do it, just like we won't change our bank accounts. So in order to save ourselves money, we'll just sit there and, wallow in our own inactivity. Like I'm about to do.
Lots of...
Hey, let's take this bloke who has some news. Clapham.
Hello, London. Hello, the world. This is Greeky Lion. How are you, Nick Abbott?
I'm all right, mate.
All right, mate. I want to say thank you very much to the people of the offices there of Ken Livingstone. They've done a lovely Liberties, London's Disability Rights Festival 2006 right there in Trafalgar today. It went very, very well. The Mayor of London working together with deaf and disabled Londoners. And I saw a group of people, disabled people, performing, singing. Some songs were very beautiful.
Did you meet him?
This is another thing. It surprised me, a bit of a shock for me. I did meet him. I went up to him.
And how was he?
He was a very nice man. I shook his hand. Straight away he put his hand out. We shook hands and I said hello.
Wow. Great. You called it a very bad time, but it was an in-depth conversation.
On FM, on Nick Abbott.
Are you trying to tell me that this is your act?
The papers are here. Shall we do those right now? It's not a happy day. Everyone's like, no. Let's deal with the Observer first. It's not the right size, I think is what you can say about the Observer. It's just not the right size. What kind of... It's not a tabloid, it's not a broadsheet. What is it? No one has any idea. And as for what's in it, it's like, oh, wake me up when it's over. It's got a picture of Helen Mirren, who is now saying, hello, I'm the Queen, for a living. And I just can't be bothered with us. Can't be bothered. Who buys the Observer? It's like, oh, struth.
Boring!
You know, they're not even giving away a DVD. The Sunday Telegraph. They're giving away train trips. And it's all grim on the front page. Back on the menu, classes in cooking. Generations of schoolchildren slaved over shepherd's pie and fruit scones in home economics. Did you do home economics, Luce?
Oh, I did. I loved it.
Home ec. What was you best at?
Which area of home ec?
No, cooking.
Yeah, I
Well, there was an area. There were areas.
Well, it depends if you like making patisseries or if you prefer doing sort of main courses.
Was it all cooking? Or did they teach you how to clean?
Well, I then went on to catering college, so that's probably...
Right. But home ec, that was... it was all cooking, right?
Yeah, but it was kind of your basics, wasn't it, which kind of got you going.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it was cooking. That's specifically
you did
what
do
it
cooking.
was. No.
Not all the time, though. You
Okay,
did all
well, that's my question.
No,
Did they give you lessons in deportment? Because I'd ask for your money back.
No, it's quite a lot of science, actually.
Science?
Yeah.
Go on, like what?
And all the biology of what's going on with the food.
Biology,
Yeah.
I see.
Not that sort of biology.
Right. With you now. Yeah.
Did you not do cooking at school?
Of course not, I'm a bloke.
I think
Metalwork.
boys should too. Boys enjoy it, I think.
Well, yes, but yeah, you should be given lessons on not just cooking, but just how to be a person. Because it doesn't seem like...
There isn't a class that does that.
Well, there should be. On how to be like a normal person. You know, but respect people and don't call yourself MC anything if you don't know what MC stands for. Stuff like that.
I did actually get a call earlier on asking me to ask you, was it actually Master of Ceremonies? Could you answer the question?
So anyway, back on the menu, generations of schoolchildren slaved over shepherd's pie and fruit scones in home ec until the classes were taken off the menu. Now, cooking lessons are to return under an initiative and to be announced by ministers tomorrow. The scheme will give all pupils aged between 11 and 16 a cooking entitlement. What? A cooking entitlement from 2008. Everything is far distant in the future, isn't it? It's just, we can't do anything now. You'd think that'd be easy. Just get on with it. Oh, no, it's got to do that in 2 years' time. We're gonna. It's like a teenager being told to clean up his room. I'm gonna. It's like that constantly. Just do it. Alan Johnson, the Education Secretary, will announce the measure as part of a reform of food standards in schools, which from this month bans low-quality meat products, fizzy drinks, crisps and chocolates from canteens. About time, too. And you know who's behind all that? It's not Tony Blair. It's Jamie Oliver, himself, who should be given a hearty round of applause. It's the bloke whose tongue doesn't fit his own mouth. It's him what done it. Have you ever had a turkey twizzler? I'm looking at you. Have you ever had a turkey twizzler?
I don't know what one is.
Oh yeah, it's formed turkey bits in like a corkscrew shape. Why would anybody come up with that? Like, why put reformed?
Is that to make turkey interesting?
Yeah, I suppose
It's
so.
dull.
Yeah. I mean, you'd think that if you had like turkey scraps or whatever it is that they put in that stuff, that you'd form it into like either a sausage shape or like a flat sort of fillet type of shape, but you'd make it into a corkscrew? For what purpose?
Just for a laugh.
To make it go down more easily. Ridiculous. The Sunday Express. Free back-to-school pack worth £40. Now, I don't know about you, but when I used to, when I was of an age when I went to school, it seemed like no sooner had the summer holidays started than W.H. Smith's and M&S would have big posters in their windows saying, back to school. And your heart sank. No, you'd think. The trees would start turning, and the full horror of what was about to happen to you came charging upon you. But it was nice getting new pens. New pens and new books, and, occasionally you get a new, blazer, new tie.
A pencil case.
Yeah. Pencil case?
Yeah, the tin ones, and they used to do different designs on them.
Oh,
you could
right.
have, like, your favourite chocolate bar. And a set square that you would never use.
Yeah,
in the
set
whole
squares.
Entire
So what designs did you have on your pencil case? Can't wait to
Nothing interesting, to be honest. Everyone would scratch
Barbie,
their names into it
something like that.
with a compass.
Right.
I've still got mine, actually.
Have you really?
Yeah.
And you can't remember what designs you had on it?
I think it was dairy milk.
Dairy milk? What? You had a dairy milk pencil case?
Yeah. That was rock and roll back in...
Oh, I see. And so,
87.
so you either had to be Dairy Milk or Galaxy, and the two would fight at lunchtime.
Gangs,
yeah,
stabbing each other.
It wasn't the Stones and the Beatles, or the Rockers and the Mods. you divided down chocolate preferences, or chocolate-like product. Wasn't there this thing where people from France and Belgium and Switzerland, places where make actual nice chocolate, actual proper chocolate, they said, oh, wait a minute, that stuff that you serve in Britain is not chocolate at all. We want you to call it a chocolate-like product. Wouldn't you like a bar of that? I mean, if you're going to die of, salmonella poisoning, you'd rather it be from chocolate, not chocolate-like product, because the warning would be right there on the label, wouldn't it? I mean, you'd just be a fool to yourself. Have they sorted that out yet? Lucy's saying nothing, huh?
I did it. Do you know what? I ate chocolate though before I was ill.
Aha!
But it can't have been that, can it?
I don't know. Whose chocolate was it? I bet it wasn't nice chocolate. I bet it was some...
No, it wasn't.
Right.
It was a similar product we were discussing.
Well, there you are.
Mm.
Was it the actual product that we were discussing?
Mm.
The actual one that made people sick?
It was that. Well, it was. Yeah.
Aha!
But I can't believe
Guilty.
it would be that. Well, but then my husband got it 3 days later, so that just seems like a bug to me.
Maybe you gave it to him.
Yeah, but you can't pass on salmonella, can you?
Well, did you...
I didn't share. No, I stuffed it all down myself.
Right. So that's the Sunday Express. Back to school. The kids are appalled. Are they back yet? They're not back yet, are they?
This week, I think they're going.
Right.
Yeah.
The Daily Mail is upset about something. I bet they are. Dodie did give Diana a ring, but it meant nothing, and I can prove it. This is Paul Burrell. Full story, pages 2, 20, 21, 22 and 23. Does that story actually warrant that much coverage?
No!
No. 2 for 1 sunshine holidays. When an Air France pilot discovered Bonnie Tyler was on board his retirement flight, he asked her to sing her biggest hit. Unfortunately, the passengers didn't want her to. 80s rock queen Bonnie Tyler is well used to acclaim. After all, her greatest hit, Total Eclipse of the Heart, sold 6 million copies. No, really? Who bought it? Hands up. Let's name them and shame them. So she was not too surprised when a member of the Air France cabin crew gently woke her as she flew home first class from a business trip to Mauritius. Oh, God, there's a reason not to fly Air France. If they want you to do something, they want you to do like a little turn, like a performing monkey, they'll wake you up, even if you're in first class. The co-pilot was retiring. Well, he wasn't retiring enough to interfere with people who had paid £10,000 for a seat, was he? No, he was giving up work. And he asked if Bonnie would make the occasion extra special by singing to him. Like he's not busy enough flying 500 people in a gigantic screaming tube 30,000 feet above the ground. He wants to some woman is waking her up to come and come and serenade him while he's doing it. Ever the trooper, Ms. Tyler obliged, posing for pictures with a delighted crew, most of whom were saying, "Who is she? Who is she?" Before singing a few bars in her trademark husky voice. Yet, as she sat down, leaving her overjoyed audience to their celebrations, one section of the plane was distinctly unimpressed by the frivolity. A group of passengers, believed to be Belgians, lodged a complaint with the airline, claiming they were traumatised by the experience. The group said that the celebrations and Bonnie's singing were so raucous that they feared the safety of the flight might be put at risk. The 55-year-old Welsh singer told the Mail on Sunday, "I was asleep in first class. The stewardess came and said the co-pilot was retiring. And they asked me if I would sing to him. They were having a bit of a party. A party!" The stewardess was a frustrated singer. She had a great voice and really wanted to make records. And the co-pilot was a lovely guy. I remember he had he had badges all over his uniform. "Oh, well, that's all right then. Badges? Well, I should have said." The singer's other hits include Holding Out for a Hero, It's a Heartache, and Lost in France, which was practically what they almost were. Was bemused when told that some passengers had complained. Manager Roger confirmed that Ms. Tyler had sung. She did a video in Mauritius, and she sang to the co-pilot. When they were coming back, it was the co-pilot's last flight, and he heard she was on the aeroplane, and the cabin crew woke her up. To sing him a song, and the passengers complained about it. That's excellent. The Sunday Times. In fact, I think I need a bit of a relax now. Oh, I'm exhausted. Whew. Okay, we're going to come back.
Nick Abbott.
Well, let's get back to it.
I've just been going through the Sunday Times, desperate, because there's nothing on the front page that I want to talk about. This Kate Moss. Who's wearing, like naughty lingerie. But there's nothing on the front page, and there's nothing until you get halfway through, and that's as far as I got before we had to come back. There's nothing in the Sunday Times at all, in the main paper. So it's a good job they got A.A. Gill and Jeremy Clarkson writing for them in the, the bits that most people would throw away. Because otherwise, why buy it? Nothing. They couldn't come up with anything interesting. But did you see Kate Moss this week? Alex, you saw Kate Moss, right, in the Super Soaraway Stun? There's a picture of her right there. Did you see that?
I didn't even realise that was her.
Yeah, that's her. She's made up... this was on Thursday. Kate Moss is on page 3. Kate Moss wears nothing but a pirate-style hat and skimpy underwear and lets us admire her body. I don't know. Is it me or... What does that do for you there, Alex?
It's kind of amusing.
Amusing?
Yeah.
That means he likes it.
Does it?
Yeah, probably. He's trying to be polite.
Because to me, she looks like an alien boy with 2 doorbells on his chest.
It is a bit boyish, but not unattractive.
Because she just looks weird to me. I mean, there's no part
It's a
of
silly
Kate-
hat.
Yeah, it's a silly hat and ridiculous makeup, and I mean, she just looks weird.
If she ate a couple of pies, she'd probably look better.
She should eat something. Yeah. I wonder how she keeps so trim. So I can't find anything in the Sunday Times. The, what else we got? The Mirror. A free double DVD of something that no one in their right minds would ever want. The Rubber Dubbers. Now, does that sound like Teletubbies? The Rubber Dubbers? Does that sound like a total rip-off? Because there are, it's a kids' DVD, children's favourites. The Rubber Dubbers.
I thought they were giving Pingu away. What was that the other day?
Well, you can get the Rubber Dubbers and Barney. What is Barney?
Oh, is he the horrible dinosaur?
He's a purple dinosaur.
How do you know that?
Because my goddaughter used to like him.
A purple dinosaur with a green belly, apparently.
That's right.
And the Rubber Dubbers. Are you familiar with these?
No, never heard of the Rubber Dubbers.
Right. They're kind of like the Teletubbies.
Tinky Winky, Dipsy, La La or Pooh.
That was the, that was the Teletubbies. The Rubber Dubbers, I don't know what they're called. Okay, what have we got? Gordon Ramsay with his shirt off. Oh. And then grim, it's grim, and oh no! Oh no!
Oh no!
We can work it out. Oh, I hope this doesn't happen. Sir Paul's 40-minute peace summit with estranged wife Heather. Oh, they're not going to fight in court? No! Sir Paul McCartney and Heather Mills spent 40 minutes alone together in a dramatic peace summit at his US holiday home. The former Beatle invited Heather inside his East Hampton house on Wednesday morning as she picked up their daughter Beatrice. It's understood that Sir Paul, 64, had instigated the meeting earlier, contacting Heather's representatives and suggested it was time that the pair called a truce. Because in America, they're just going to cut everything he's got in half and give it to her. And there's no questions asked. And if he hasn't actually got it in cash, then he's going to have to sell something. So, yeah, that would make you call her up, wouldn't it? No, dear, we don't need a prenuptial agreement. The news of the world. Jerry calls in cops over baby abuse. I don't know what that is, and I really want to find out. England 5, Andorra 0. Well, you'd think so, wouldn't you? I mean, you'd hope so. Everyone's breathing a collective sigh of relief. Simon Cowell and Sharon Osbourne are at loggerheads because she thinks he's not taking her opinion seriously. Shazza... When was the moment at which everyone had to have a nickname that ended in A? 2 Z's and an A. I think it was Gaza was the first one, wasn't he? And now everyone has to have one. Shazza, 53, believes her fellow X Factor judge has pushed his favourites through to the boot camp stage while putting the brakes on acts she dislikes. And you know what? It's all rubbish. It's all just fluff to get you to watch this silly show. And I'm going to watch this silly show because you like people making complete fools of yourself. Most of the people who go to the stage where they just go in and the auditions stage, most of them are actually mentally deficient, which is obvious the moment they walk into the room. They have something mentally wrong with them. And basically we are, as a nation, we're right back to the village idiot, where everyone just stands and points. Which is kind of awful, really, when you think about it. That's your Saturday night entertainment, laughing at people who are, mentally incapable. But that's what that show is. Terrible. And every week they'll have something where someone will throw a glass of water over somebody else, or Sharon will have an argument with Louis, or Simon will, be accused of this, that and the other. And it's just to get a little bit of press. Because it's just all about the money. No one cares about the musical acts. Can anybody remember who won last year? I'll give you £10 million if you can remember who won last year in the next 3 seconds. Oh, no, time's up. Exactly my point. No one cares about that. We're just interested in the show. And all of these stories you read. And it's just... most of the stories that you read in the newspapers are press releases. Because there's no such thing as a journalistic investigation anymore. They just... the fax machine spews it out and they take it right to the paper. And or it comes on an email now. And the greatest journalistic tool is the right-click button. Copy, paste. That's what they do. There's your newspaper right there. Lindsay Lohan's billionaire boyfriend is set to propose in the next few days, we can reveal. That's great. Who's Lindsay Lohan? Anybody have any idea?
An actress.
Is she?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes, sir.
In what?
Oh, teen fluff stuff.
Really? Lindsay Lohan. I've never heard of her. All of these people that are on the tabloids, I've got no idea who they are anymore. I don't know, you have to go in quite some way before it gets good. Sneaky Sven's love tips. Do we want Sven-Göran Eriksson's love tips, pages 16 and 17? Oh, they're not enumerated. You have to read the whole article. Okay, there it is in the News of the World. You can just go to pages 16 and 17 in the Newsagent and then buy The Spectator, or whatever it is that you went in there initially for. The Peephole. Nikki's sex secrets, pages 20 and 21. Nikki's sex secrets. She said...
I hate it!
And when she was working for it, she said...
I hate this job!
Madonna taught to save marriage. You know, when these two got married, I said, I graciously said, I'll give it 6 weeks. And they lasted considerably longer than that. Well done. Madonna and husband Guy Ritchie, is he still speaking like that, by the way? Or has he been found out? He's not actually an East End gangster. He's a posh boy whose dad's a lord or a vicar or something of that order, isn't it? His dad's a millionaire and he's talking like that. All right, mate, right. He couldn't be posher. Weak. And as soon as Madonna figures out British accents, she's going to be furious. Mum of two, Madonna, 48, and British movie director. Is he still a movie director? Oh, well done. Is he still doing that?
I think so, he's trying.
Will fly to Malawi next month to rescue a child from an orphanage. Really? That'll get him a lot of publicity. Madonna and her British movie director husband Guy Ritchie desperately hope an adoption of an African baby will heal their troubled marriage. Oh yeah, that'll work. That's bound to work. Like they don't have, they have children already. What?
But one more should heal it all.
Oh yeah, that's right. When you're in a hole, keep digging. And finally, the star. Will's girl Kate is crowned HRH. You know what that means? Her Royal Hotness. Because there she is in the almost nothing at all, being photographed from some guy with a lens that's about 6 feet long on a tripod from 6 miles away. And if you tried it on a beach, the star would be all over you. Gaza brawls with Liam. Oasis star and footy legend clash in bar. Oh, it's just nice guys meeting over a quiet drink. And here's this Peter Crouch thing again with who cares about Peter Crouch and his girlfriend? I mean, seriously. Do you care, Lucy?
Not a jot.
I mean, do you buy these sort of Heat magazines and OK and Close and all that
Closer.
junk? Closer. Oh, I'm so sorry.
No, I don't.
Got that one wrong.
That's all she's done for the last 2 weeks is read those things.
Have a quick flip through and a bitch about people's hairstyles and, oh, they've got fat. Stuff like that. Hey, it's not Gaza's son that had a fight with Liam. It's actual Gaza himself. And I thought he was on the straight and narrow. He called me up at I used to be on another radio station, and he actually called me up and said, Ian, it's me trying to do a Gaza now, this will work. What, you're going to play Ian? Is that close? Where does he come from?
Yeah, that's good.
Where is he from? Oh, he's not from Liverpool. He's from Newcastle.
Newcastle, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
He wanted me to play Elvis. Like I could just stroll to the CDs in the wall behind me and just pull out an Elvis.
What did you say?
I said I can't. Well, first of all,
Did you offer him something else
No,
instead?
well, first of all, I hung up on him.
Oh.
I was doing a show, and I thought this is a bloke impersonating Gaza. And I didn't have time for it, so I just hung up on him. And he called back.
Crying.
He called back and said, well, play some... I see, I can't get it. If I was just talking to him, I'd be able to do it, but like off the top of my... because I haven't heard him speak in a good long
I'll just
while.
get him on the line.
Oh, yeah, would you do that for me?
Sure, no problems.
He said, play some Elvis. And I'm like, I can't. I'm just sitting here pressing the button marked next. So another satisfied customer. Fallen footy hero Paul Gascoigne has had a boozy bust-up with rock star Liam Gallagher, and the aggro ended with Oasis frontman letting off a fire extinguisher in Gaza's face. The ex-England midfielder had been partying in London's exclusive Groucho club on Friday after an interview. Witnesses claim that he and Liam came to blows following an argument. And bouncers had to step in when Gaza, who last week admitted he'd fallen off the wagon, ended up getting a hosing down. Huh. What a nightmare couple that is. I mean, does anybody want to go and hang out in the Groucho? So that's your papers right there. Nothing in 'em.
Lots of people have made money.
90973.
Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Here's one in Chesterfield. Oh, Michael.
Hi, Nick.
How are you?
Not so bad. Wasn't it worth the wait?
I don't know. Let's find out.
It was. Lucy coming back.
Oh, Lucy coming back.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm thrilled beyond measure.
Missed her.
How
about the Soprano?
Did I miss her?
Yeah.
Yeah. The Sopranos. Oh, wow. I know. Isn't that great? Finally, there's something to watch on television.
Exactly. No more Big Brother to talk about.
Yes. I never want to talk about it again. But what a shocker, eh? Who can believe it?
I was, when Adriana showed up, I thought...
Hey, you know what? We better not talk about it, because a lot of people aren't getting E4, and they're sticking their fingers in their ears and going la 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 la, trying not to... we won't spoil it for them.
It's worth waiting for the DVDs to come out, isn't it?
Well, yes. And you know what? E4, I think, have been quite respectful about it, because most programmes, as soon as they end, some dope comes in, like charges in the second that the programme is finished. And a programme will cost, you know, if it's a great programme like The Sopranos, it will cost millions of pounds. If it's a film, it could cost £100 million and a year of someone's life in order to put you in some mental frame at the end of the movie, where, I don't know, if it's a chick flick, then the heroine dies, or cancer, or something like that. If it's like a love story, but if it's a bloke thing, then you're thrilled beyond measure right at the end. And you know, the music at the end of the film or the TV program just eases you out of the experience that you've just had. But not on television. Oh no! The second that the program finishes, some dope comes in with, and coming up next on wherever it is, we've got a... And you're no! And all the last 2 hours of your life, building you up to this emotional response, has just ruined in the blink of an eye by some idiot telling you what's coming on next.
That's one of my pet hates.
It just drives me up the wall, and the absolute worst. And every time I hear it, I cannot believe what I'm listening to. Is on the Paramount Comedy Channel, where they've gone one louder, they've turned it up to 11, and they've got a guy who actually does an act, like he's on the radio. And he's coming in with voices and characters, and he's got sidekicks, like he's doing his own programmes over the music that outros the programme that you've just been watching. It's just too annoying.
There you are, pulling your hair out.
Exactly.
What hair you got left?
But you don't get that if you watch it on DVD, and neither do you get those two irritating blokes with their phone thing just before you know, in and out of the ads. God, I hate them.
Have you heard of a program made by Showtime called The L Word?
The L Word.
Yeah, it's on Living TV.
Is that what it's called?
The L Word, yeah. It's about a group of lesbians in L.A. Absolutely brilliant drama.
A what band?
It's just been on tonight. That's why I missed the show your show between 11 and 12. I had to watch that. I couldn't do both at the same time.
Right, well, anything with the word lesbian in gets your attention.
Well,
right.
it was brilliant drama. But as you say, they always spoil the music at the end, except tonight. Because there wasn't any music, there wasn't any song, but they would just add a bit of the credits were coming up, and it was just like part of the program itself. With absolutely no music, no nothing, and nobody spoke over it.
Great.
It was amazing.
You know, we really should complain about this, because it drives me nuts, and it spoils the programme that you've just seen, because I'm right about this. It's not that they spoil the music, because that's not the point. Yeah. It's that they ruin the whole programme, because they snap you out of the mood that you've just... because you give yourself unto a programme like that, don't you?
Yep.
You invest a lot of yourself into a film, and you want to be eased out of it gently. That's what the music at the end is for.
Mm-hmm.
But instead of being eased out gently, you're yanked out of it by some idiot who starts shouting at you about some programme that you're not interested in.
That's why I can't understand when it goes to the pictures. Everybody can, as soon as the film finishes and the credits come up, they'll up and out. Why don't they sit and listen to the music at the end, to ease you out, like you just said?
I know, it's as though someone's just started a fire in the front row. Everyone's streaming for the exits.
Going back a long, long time ago, Nick, can you remember when he spoke to a guy around about just before 11 tonight? An American guy was
a long, long time ago. Oh, I thought it was going to be much more testing than that. Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
B-52s?
Yes.
Yeah, well, they were actually on this show tonight. Right at the end, they actually, on the programme itself.
They were on the Watbian show tonight?
They were on the L Word that I watched tonight. I've not heard of them for years and years and years, and, coincidence or what?
Yeah, Good Thing, that was the album, wasn't it? Good Thing or Good Times?
I don't know, to be honest with you. They've aged a lot, let me tell you. They look like pensioners.
Well, they would, There's none of us getting any younger.
Exactly.
Huh.
What's the weather like down there?
I've got no idea. I'm inside, mate.
My sisters, when they ring me from abroad, they always ask, what's the weather like? And I always repeat with one of your favourite phrases, the weather is on the outside.
Yeah, it's outside. Go and stick your head out of a window. But that's why you call and ask for the weather when you are abroad, because you want to make absolutely sure that it's much worse than the weather you're experiencing abroad, because that makes you happy, right?
Don't it just?
Yeah. All right, thanks, Michael.
Cheers now, Nick.
Ta-da.
Bye-bye.
Yeah, you absolutely should watch The Sopranos. You see The Sopranos, Lucy? Is that up your street?
I've seen a couple of them, but not all of them, because I sort of came to it late with a friend of ours giving us the set to go through, because I'd quite like to watch it.
Oh, you got it on disc?
Yeah, on DVD.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Let's have Tony. Oh, Tony.
Hi.
Hello, Tony.
Hi there. I was talking about something completely different, so I'm not sure I'm actually part of your conversation at the moment.
Well, we like to skip here, there and everywhere, baby.
That's okay then. You were talking about originally kids in domestic science at school. None of my guys have done domestic science at school under this government.
None of your guys?
My guys and girls. I've got boys and girls. They should have all done domestic science, but they didn't do it.
Why not?
Because this government chose not to do it.
This government?
Yeah, big time.
Now domestic science is just cooking, right?
Yeah.
Well, you could teach them that.
I do teach them that, and I always have done. I've taught them since they were like little babies. But the point is, it used to be part of school.
Yeah.
You know, that was one thing that was taught as part of school. I know, I still do it. But the point is, it was taught as part of school.
Can you say school?
Yeah.
All right. Just checking.
What? Sorry, you're laughing, and I'm not sure why you're laughing.
Well, because you're saying scowl.
School?
Scowl.
School.
Scowl.
School.
School.
Yeah. What? A problem with my...
Oh, she's
Sorry,
died.
I think you're being rude to me now.
Well, no. It's just... I couldn't think of anything else while you were saying it, because you just kept saying scowl all the time.
No, I did say I'm trying to actually teach my children at home But it wasn't being taught at school.
Not at home.
Okay, you have your laugh.
All right, I will. Not at home. At Scowl. Yeah. Well, you teach your children well. She's right though. They're not. They're not being taught nothing no more, are they? And I'm amazed that they don't teach cooking, because that seems like something that anyone could pass, because they're concentrating on things that everyone can pass now, right? Because it's all about targets.
I had to cook scones or scones when I was at school. I don't know what use that was though, but I used self-raising flour. And I had like foot-high scones. And everyone else laughed at me.
Right, stick to metalwork.
Yeah.
It's probably what you're best at.
Definitely.
Yeah. Let's have Dan in Leeds. Oh, Dan.
Alright, Nick.
How are you?
Not bad, man. Long time no hear from you.
Oh, I know, haven't I been lucky?
When did you leave Leeds, man?
When did I leave Leeds?
Yeah.
Oh, blimey, that's ancient history. I've got, years ago.
I used to listen to you all the time.
I know, you used to be a caller back at the old place.
Yeah. Well, you got sacked or what? Or you moved to bigger things, better things?
I left the building. They insisted on it.
Never mind. Life goes on. I was just like going through my radio, checking the station, and I heard your voice. I thought, oh my God, who's that?
That's me.
How are you, man?
So we're coming in loud and clear in Leeds, eh?
Yeah. I've got what is it? Digital radio.
You got a digital radio in the car.
Yeah, man.
It's so it was you who bought that one. One sold so far. It was you.
Nice hearing you again, man.
Well, it's nice to be here.
Yeah.
Even though I'm not there.
Not there. Not in Leeds.
Not in Leeds anymore.
No.
Am I missing it?
No, you're not missing nothing, man.
No.
Maybe a couple of things. I don't know.
Well, a couple of things, like the surroundings of Leeds. Leeds itself, not that great. I'd have to, what is there in Leeds? Some shops. It's not that great. But what's around Leeds is fantastic. The countryside around Leeds is great. And the good thing about Leeds is it doesn't take very long to get there.
Oh, yeah, it's quicker there on the motorway. But do you still like cats or what?
Do I what?
You still like cats? You got cats, you were telling me about your cats before.
I don't know what you're saying. Do I still like...
Cat.
Spell it.
C-A-T.
Cats?
Yeah.
Cats?
Yeah.
Do I still like cats?
Yeah.
The pets?
Yeah, cat as a pet. Did you have a cat?
Well, my parents have always had a cat, but I've never...
yeah, that's it. That's what you were telling me about.
Right, I've never had a pet. I can't even keep houseplants alive.
You're still the same, man.
I'll never change.
Never change.
Hey, listen.
Yeah.
Don't go on Ilkley Moor without your hat, all right?
I don't wear hats.
Never go on Ilkley Moor bar tat. You must have heard that.
No.
Oh, please, you live in Leeds and you've never heard don't go out in Ilkley Moor with bar tat?
Oh, I'm not a typical Yorkshire man, you know.
Yeah, I gathered that. Yeah, you want to bathe in your local, culture a little bit more.
Oh, yeah, man, no problem. Now I know something already. What is it? Say it again.
Don't go up on Ilkley Moor, bar tat. That's B''H''A'.
Why? No, I don't think I'm going to go to Ilkley Moor anyway.
All right, good.
I'll stick in Leeds.
Stick to Leeds, yeah. Stick with what you know. All right, listen, Dan, I've got to go, all right?
All right, bye.
Ta-ta, mate. It was a bloke from the old school.
The Amazing Adventures of Cucumber Man.
Eat organic?
Yes.
What do you eat organic?
I try and buy organic meat as much as I can.
Right. Alex?
Carrots.
Carrots?
Well, it's cheap, and then you can say, yeah, I've bought something organic.
Is that it? Carrots?
Bananas.
Well, that's just so weird. Bananas? What about fair trade? No, right. What about fair trade?
Yeah, I buy fair trade bananas, actually, and fair trade tea bags always.
And are they any good? Every
they
fair
are.
trade product I've ever bought has been virtually inedible.
Yeah, you can, but the supermarkets now do their own fair trade versions. So some are better than others.
Like, I've tried fair trade chocolate, and I might as well have eaten the packet it came in.
Was that not nice?
Awful.
Oh.
And who can tell the difference between fair trade bananas, organic bananas, and banana bananas? They're all exactly the same.
But you know that somebody got paid much better.
Yeah, right. Or they just, they're all exactly the same, they just put them in different bags.
Oh, don't say that. That would be awful.
Entirely possible. That's what they do with organic. Not all organic, but a lot of organic that you will see is nothing of the sort. It's just in a bag marked organic. It costs twice the price.
But that's why it's no good really buying organic from the supermarket, is it, really?
Why? Which supermarket in particular are you talking about?
I'm not mentioning any particular supermarket,
right.
Of course. But I would prefer to buy organic if I was, say, out by a farm, or if you go to a farmer's market.
What, because farmers would never cheat you?
I would hope they wouldn't.
Farmers' markets are another thing. You know, you go to a farmer's market and you think, how on earth can this be so expensive? And you get used to, in supermarkets, everything looking nice, and nothing's got blemishes on it. And so you wouldn't actively go out and search apples that look mutated.
Oh, I quite like those, though. They're more fun.
Fun?
Yeah.
Explain the use of the word fun in this
context.
context.
I like buying veg that look a little bit bizarre.
The only thing I always buy organic is eggs, and they must be free range. And who knows what free range is? Maybe they take the little chicken shackles off their little chicken legs. Maybe they don't nail their feet to the floor like they do in the battery chair.
Yeah, they have a couple of inches more room, don't
right.
they? And there's a bit of sunlight, I think they have to have if they're free range.
Is it that bad? Really?
It is, yeah.
Well, they don't get to wander around.
They can wander
doing their little
tiny
chook things,
bit, but they just have to have a little bit of outdoor light, and that's free range.
And the other thing I always buy organic is milk.
Oh, I do too.
For no other reason than I think that I just read somewhere that they inject cows with all sorts of horrible stuff. And
also, if you don't buy organic, apparently the blood can kind of seep through because a lot of the cow's udders get infected, and that's why I always buy organic milk.
Oh, no!
Yeah.
Anyway, I did it because, you know, if they feed cows on mashed up sheep, which is true, which is what they used to do, right? That's what mad cow disease was all about, is that correct?
Yes, but they don't do that now.
Well, yeah, I'm sure they've cleaned up their act enormously, yeah. No, that's all out the window. Mm-hmm.
You always make me feel so hopeful.
Well, yeah, I mean, do we think that they've all gone back to, you know, to treating cows like they used to in the good old days, like we're all suddenly marched back to the 1950s? No, I don't believe it for a second. It'll be something else, and in 10 years' time, they'll be, oh, sorry about that. Everyone's dead. Sorry. Anyway, a group of scientists called on the Food Standards Agency yesterday to acknowledge that organic milk is healthier than the conventional pint. And you know where they get milk from, don't you? That's right. The 14 there's a hard one. Veterinary and public health researchers have written to the FSA claiming that there is compelling evidence that organic milk is a richer source of omega-3 essential fatty acids and that the official advice should reflect this. If the agency is persuaded to change its stance, it would be a significant victory for organic farmers. Not only would it boost sales of organic milk, it would be the first time that organic food was officially declared healthier, because they haven't done that yet, right? I mean, everybody likes to think that if you pay twice the price, then it will have some sort of beneficial effect. But nobody's actually proven it yet. But apparently now they have, with milk. It found that organic milk had about, and it's not just a little bit more omega-3, which is the thing that comes in mackerel, right? And it's supposed to lubricate our brains in order to make us less stupid. Something like that, isn't it? It found that it didn't have a little bit more omega-3, it had 69% more, which is huge. Omega-3 is thought to protect the heart against disease. It helps developing brains and improves the condition of some people with depression and bipolar disorder. The reason why it's got so much omega-3 is because organic farmers can't use nitrogen on the grass. So instead they grow a lot of clover seeds, which fixes nitrogen in the ground, and clover is high in omega-3 and gets in the milk. Huh. And this follows the results of a year-long study of 36 farms published in the, this is a very good publication, the Journal of Dairy Science. I have a subscription. You should have seen the centre spread last week. Look at the udders on that, which is a phrase no one has ever said to Kate Moss. Oh, so you've killed all these callers stone dead, Lucy. What have you done to them?
Shall I not come back next week?
They were pouring in like it was a waterfall of call. I was bathing in them. I couldn't get through them fast enough. And now you're back, dead as a
Well, what did you talk about then?
Oh, I don't know. It's just the usual stuff. I just bounced around and talked about whatever they wanted to talk about. You know me. I'll just say something, of vital importance, and then they'll call in about their pet budgie or whatever it happens to be at the time. And I'm fine with that. I just, either we can talk about deaths in the army, or the NHS, or sex kills, or, abortion, all that sort of stuff, and I can dictate what we talk about, or I just bounce around and have a chit-chat, which is what I much prefer.
Yeah.
And so I'm happy to talk about anything that anybody wants to talk about, as long as it doesn't, involve death exclusively.
There was a gas leak in our street when I was away.
A gas leak, you say?
That was quite exciting. We all got evacuated from the area.
Did you?
We did, actually, yeah. And it was a bit annoying, because we'd just come back from dinner and then couldn't get home. And it always happens when you really need the loo, doesn't it?
What, being evacuated?
No.
Oh, yeah, I hate when that happens.
When you can't get home, or, or if you're stuck on the bus, or you're stuck in your car.
Of course, if you're a bloke, it's easy. You just pee against the nearest wall.
But you can't. But anyway, we all came together as a community, and I met sort of local neighbours, which was quite exciting. And
Did you get on with any of them?
They were all right. One man got arrested, which was nice.
For what?
Well, he had been sent out of his flat because he was in the block where the gas leak was, and then he managed to sneak back in. So he then came out on the balcony, went, "Wee, look at me, look at me!" And so the police said, "Can you please come back down here, sir?" And so when he came back down, they sort of pushed him to the floor, about 4 of them, and
no way.
He got arrested.
Pushed him to the floor. Did they use the taser?
Well, we both said, is this right? Did he actually do anything wrong? And they went, "Oh, he deserves it." They did.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was quite exciting. And
he deserves it.
Yeah, it's a bit worrying that. Yeah, it was very odd, actually, that whole incident.
Yeah, but I was a bit casual about it. I mean, you're suggesting that you might have a complaint, and they're like, "Oh, forget about it."
Yeah.
I thought they had procedures.
Well,
I thought they put some kid in a bin a while ago, and the story just went on and on and on and on and on.
It was really weird, but they said, he's always getting nicked. Don't worry about it.
Oh, well, forget it.
And we said, "Oh, right, is that so? So that's that, is it?" And they went, "Yeah." He said, "I didn't see anything, did you?" And so it was getting better by the minute. And then everyone had to go and sleep in the town hall. Local town hall.
Really?
Yeah, but I went to my parents because I didn't really fancy it.
Right. Oh, you better not tell the police that. They'll wrestle you to the ground. Disobeying orders.
Yeah.
Well, if he was a known troublemaker, quite right, they should wrestle him to the ground.
Really?
Yeah. They should have shot him.
Even if he didn't.
Yeah, shot him with an electric gun, not an actual gun. We'll leave that to members of the general public. But, they should have put some restraint on him. Yeah, quite right, too. I mean, Tony's bleating about, Tony Blair. He's bleating about, we want to catch kids before they're even born. And you know what? That's not going to solve the problem, Tony, because basically what that is throwing more social workers at the problem, which does not solve the problem. How you solve the problem is removing the notion that any action that they do is without consequences. Because if you let them get away with it, this is what no tolerance policing is all about. And it worked in New York, and if it can work there, it can work here. If you let them get away with a little bit, it's the nature of youth that they will march straight past that line and onto the next line with the very next thing that they do. And then a little bit more, and then a little bit more. And our response to all of these little things is to say, "Oh, please don't do that again." And we don't want to abuse your human rights of self-expression, but please don't stab anyone in the face again, and we'll let you out. Here's a suspended sentence. Or an ASBO, which they wear around their neck like a medal, which says, "I'm hard" on it. ASBO. Oh, yeah, they'll really work. No, it's removing the notion that anything they do comes without consequences. That'll solve it, not throwing more social workers at the problem. And you can have that advice for free.
The amazing adventures of Q.
Do I want to speak to Tony? We're running out of time. What is it she wants? Lucy.
You've spoken to Tony already.
Have I?
Yeah.
What did she want? She's back again? Oh, we can't have her twice.
No.
No one gets on twice.
No.
No what?
No one gets on twice. I'm agreeing with you.
No, Tony. No. No means no. What does no mean? Say it.
No.
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 No. Passengers on a Canadian plane had an unsettling in-flight experience after the pilot found himself locked out of the cockpit after a trip to the toilet. That's a pretty loose word, loose use of the word unsettling. I would use a stronger word than that. So you're on a plane, and the pilot comes back to use the toilet, and then can't get back into the cockpit again. Would you find that unsettling, or would you be freaking out? Instead of slipping back inside, the Air Canada pilot was... So you're just sitting there having a cocktail, and you're on a giant tube screaming through the air at 150,000 miles an hour, 6 miles off the ground, and the pilot saunters back to go to the loo. I mean, that's worrying for a start. I mean, every fibre of your body is screaming, "Get back at the controls!" And he goes to the loo, and he comes back, and then is seen banging on the door and talking to his first officer on a phone. Can't get back in. An airline spokeswoman said the first officer could have landed the flight by himself and, quotes, "there had been no danger."
Oh, right, yeah.
Right, yeah. Because that's why you want to... Because if the second pilot could land it himself, why do you need the pilot, right? The incident happened on an internal flight from Ottawa to Winnipeg. The pilot went to use the toilet at the back of the plane, and on his return found the door jammed, and it eventually had to be removed. They had to take it off its hinges to let him back in to land the plane. Hello there, this is your captain speaking. Welcome aboard this Air Canada flight to Winnipeg. We'll be flying at a height of... Well, I don't really know, to be honest, because I can't get back into the cockpit. The passengers said...
Oh, no.
On FM, on DAB, and